another episode of Wrestling on the Rocks. How are you guys doing?
Good, man, good.
I am at Ref Marsh. We have Kevlar, we have Clump. Was that at Crybaby Clump and at Kevlar on the Rocks with an X?
Yeah!
That's how we do it. This is how we do it.
Montel Jordan style.
Yeah. And this is our first episode knowingly being on podcast. So welcome all of our podcast listeners. Last week we were able to get approved for a podcast, so we have an episode up already, but we didn't know we were going to do that, so we didn't know. So this is the first time we're going to say thank you for tuning in if you are listening on podcast.
And the extra voice on the side is me, producer lady, who's off camera.
Producer here.
Stop. That's a horrible imitation to me.
No one knows if that was me or not.
I heard no difference.
Yeah, it was just flawless, seamless.
No.
Bunch of feedback.
Yeah. I'm hearing an echo here. Producer here.
I sound nothing like that.
All right.
You're right, it's deeper.
Yeah, it's a little slightly deeper. Update available. I wish I'd known about that. Everyone update your Twitch apps at another time. Not right now. We're live.
Yeah, I had that too. Like, no, we're not doing this now.
Yeah, I was like, well, shit. Let's see, guys. Wrestling happened all week.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
Yeah, yet again. They keep doing it. They keep putting it out there. Let's see. If you guys are new to the show, check us out at WrestlingOnTheRocks.com. It has links to everything. You can find our YouTube, our Twitch, our pro wrestling tees. It'll even walk you through how to take your Amazon Prime subscription and move it into a Twitch Prime subscription. So you could then subscribe to us for free to you, but buys me a drink. So, buy me a drink.
Hey, Winter Wolvengrad.
Winter Wolvengard. What's up?
Sorry.
What's up? Welcome to the chat.
What's going on? Cheers.
Cheers. What are you drinking? I am about to pour myself some bowl of bourbon. We are hoping to get a sponsorship or a cease and desist. If you know anybody who works for any liquor company, we will actively start drinking it, even if we don't like it, but we won't tell anybody.
We'll tell them how much we love it.
Or if they send us a cease and desist, we'll start redecorating behind us with the like. Kevlar, what are you drinking?
This big boy. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. That's a 2 gallons. Was that 1.75 liter? A 1.75 of Crown Royal. I didn't tell you yet, producer, but it turns out they're on sale at Costco for $30 a bottle. It might be time we go back. The thing is ridiculous.
It's a baby.
That sounds like a problem.
That's a sack of potatoes.
I'm drinking this whole thing tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, good God.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kidding.
Yeah. I mean,
And we're driving your ass to the hospital later.
The two of us have killed an entire Crown Royal on the show once before together. I think we could do it again. At this point, we've been doing this now for about a year. I think we've graduated to killing a 1.75 together. Actually, we got that Kirkland. Remember we got that Kirkland 175 that we got almost done? We got well over halfway.
Wasn't that our 4th of July show?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, it's the one you don't remember.
Yeah, and then we did another one on when we did the cigars, and we went through a lot, and it was rough because it was so hot and we were outside. Winter Wolfengard says they're not drinking anything yet, but they are going to get a Cidre soon. I'm assuming that's the Stella Artois Cidre. I'm having Bullet Bourbon, you're having Crown Royal. Clump, what do you got?
Mexican sparkling water. It's mineral water.
What's the difference?
These, you open them and they explode. Like,
I think.
and they're cheaper because I drink a lot of sparkling water because I don't drink beer or liquor anymore. My favorite thing about these is driving to, when we did the show in person, I had like a couple of them in a passenger seat of my car, fell off the seat, hit something metal, cracked it open, and fucked up my car interior. Just sprayed everywhere.
All right.
As I'm desperately trying to grab it, and it's just douching the windows.
Good. So when I asked what made it a Mexican mineral water, you said because it explodes when you open it. I think we should go back and perhaps revisit the other aspect of how you might know that.
It's from the brand Aritos, and it's
God.
mineral agua.
We are really close to Mexico, so
See.
you likely got it in a grocery store here that carries a lot of things from just right on the border. We're 45 minutes from the border. I think out of context, Clump, you sound
QT
awful.
Counts as a...
I think out of context, you sound terrible.
Yeah, just a little.
In context, it sounds shitty too.
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
I like that you think that a Quick Trip is a regional grocery store.
I thought you went to Food City, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
And if you're just joining us, technically we're all Mexican here on the show. It's very light.
Actually, we're all like 50 at least. You're 100. I'm 50.
100.
Clump, what are you at? Your parents?
I mean,
Forget
50, I
it.
guess?
You don't know who your parents are?
Okay, well,
I'm gonna avoid that joke. I'm gonna be honest with you.
yeah.
Kevlar's mother, my mother, 100%. So,
Not the same mother.
different mothers. Although your mother was quite the mother figure to me growing up, and that's how I got into wrestling to begin with, was your black box, where we both grew up into men for multiple reasons. One of which is wrestling, and that what brings us here today.
Yes.
Also, you can watch our other podcast where we talk about watching Spice Scrambled.
No, it wasn't
It
scrambled.
was
my
not
friend.
scrambled, my friend. GR Lunar's married into... Nope. No, hold on.
What?
Let's go back. GR Lunar, single as ever. He's jumped into the chat.
Congrats, man.
Yeah. Says that Clump married into it, so he's good. Clump married in... Yes. Awesome. This is good. No, everything makes sense.
You haven't even started drinking yet.
I think it'll get better as we drink. Welcome to the
We
show where every show is our first show because we still can't figure this out.
Yep.
In our minds, it gets better as we drink.
Yeah, and by the time that we're confident, this is very good now. By the end of the show, this is definitely very good content.
We need to title every podcast episode 1.
Yeah, they all say episode 1. But the seasons progress.
Yeah.
GR Lunar still single AF. Shout out to Kyla Braxton. I don't know if there's a way that if anyone's listening and knows Kyla Braxton, it turns out they're made for each other and they haven't sorted that out yet. The more I see her do Instagram lives, it's basically like she's calling out to him, and he can't do anything. He can't scream back. It is the plight. It's better than most sitcoms. I don't know if you ever watched The Holiday, but this is way better. Let's see. Anything happened in the wrestling world? Any news you guys want to cover before we get into the shows?
I mean, the last couple weeks when we've had that discussion, it's been pretty rough.
It's been bleak.
Yeah.
It's been bleak, and luckily, it gets bleaker. So the one thing that I do know as far as news goes is that somebody, a performance center athlete who was not an on-screen NXT talent, tested positive for COVID-19. They believe that they haven't been in the performance center since June 9th. Most of the stuff we've been watching is pre-taped. So I don't know what was filmed when. Obviously, we have no insider information here. We're not pretending to be insiders. We don't pretend to know things we don't know. So I have no clue as to when they actually taped any of the stuff. But it just makes you wonder who was exposed and when. They said they're testing literally anybody who's been in that building from that point on, and probably before, to be honest. I can't imagine they wouldn't.
Yeah, I did see Mojo did a video he recorded.
Yeah, Mojo did a video where he was talking about the way he was testing.
They showed it.
He showed the test?
Yeah,
Oh.
they showed him doing the test. And it was really quick. He's like, yeah, I don't know why people are
Yeah.
getting crazy, but he's like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah, but it's like a nose thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's no way that dude doesn't have like...
Experience.
Yeah, that guy's opened up.
Oh my god.
Oh.
We love Mojo, by the way.
We
on
do
the
love
show.
Mojo, but the guy likes to party, and I don't know.
Stop
How do you think he gets hype?
Stop.
Yeah, that guy's always hype. You think that's a fucking coincidence?
No.
I'm just kidding.
It's that Canadian marching powder.
Yeah.
All
So-
jokes here.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't know how he parties. He's
All
never-
jokes, no libel.
Yeah, no libel, please. Please. We don't know anything. We're just talking out of our ass. I have met Mojo a couple of times. He could definitely beat me in a fight. So, I mean, I would say
Is
I'll
that
give him a
all?
free shot, but odds are he could crack a couple off before I even noticed it was happening. You know what I mean? I would just be down all of a sudden and be like, earthquake!
What does that speak to the quality of him? Is that how you gauge people?
Yes. If they could beat me in a
The
fight.
quality of a person is your ability to whip my ass?
Yes. 100%. That's why I treat you like shit, Clump. I know you can't take me.
Why? Yeah, and you treat Matt Brown like shit too?
There's no way that dude could take you. That dude's a fucking pussycat. I'm Matt Brown. I couldn't even fight my own butthole.
Okay, so again, new to the show, podcast listeners don't know this joke.
There's no joke. That's really Matt Brown.
It's not what that guy sounds like.
Anyone listening to the podcast right now, hey, Matt Brown, would you like to say anything? Oh, I sure would. I'm Matt Brown, and my favorite flavor is butthole.
Okay.
Thank you, Matt Brown, for being on the show.
One episode.
we got a
where you
subscriber!
walked out of a door being kicked in.
We got a subscriber! Burr, 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 burr.
Wow! Cheers!
Oh, shit. This almost never happens. There we go. Kind of. All right.
Come on,
Well.
Marsh.
Sorry, it's been a while. It's been a while.
The pressure's getting to you.
Yeah. I was put on the spot. Sorry about that. But
L.
thank you, Ellery,
Yes.
for giving us the old subscribe. What are you drinking, Elle? Let's see.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
And yeah, they're a cool person. They're a friend. Yeah. Thank you.
No,
Ellery.
no, we don't pay people to subscribe to us, Clump. Let's not put that out there.
We don't?
Also, non-friends are allowed to subscribe.
Okay.
You're saying that we have to pay our friends to be friends with us.
It's always worked. Let's see. So someone tested positive in the Performance Center for COVID-19, and now they're testing everybody. Just watching the last episode of Raw, I mean, we're not there yet, but there was a lot of people going out into the crowd. So at first, I even said when I saw it, it was before. It was like right when Raw started coming on live on our side, because on the West Coast it comes on 3 hours later than when it airs live. So as I was reading the breaking news, I was like, well, I mean, we don't know who was exposed to what yet, and if they really do keep the fans like plexiglassed away and we keep them separate from the talent, then at least nobody in the ring would be getting it. I don't know how well they kind of do the egress kind of a deal. And then as we're watching it, we're all like, they're all over the audience. There's no separation.
Yeah.
They literally walked through and touched everybody. They might as well have been licking armpits. And I'm like, Christ.
It did. I mean, it did look so fucking bad.
It looked bad,
Like,
man.
Like, it was just like, man, that could have been done a lot better.
Yeah, I was not thrilled with that. And then when you think about it, you had Nature Boy on there. You had Big Show, Christian, Randy Orton's up there in age a little bit. I mean, not crazy. You had Charles Robinson in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, you've got people who are older. People who've been in the business a really long time. People who we, really adore and don't want anything to happen to. And could be potentially a candidate for a severe case. So, yeah,
Plus,
watching it go
people
down like
backstage who are interfacing with people that are coming there, because
Mhm.
those talent are going to be going backstage, and then you have Pritchard, you have McMahon, you have other agents, that are.
Paul
working
Heyman's
for the
probably
company.
still there, even if he's not on that side.
Yeah.
You know, Johnny Ace.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know. It does seem like there's a lot of talent and backstage to think about in this time, and so I don't know. I was kind of freaking out about it. There's been a lot of rumors about it that I don't really want to get into, just because I don't know the truth of any of it, and a lot of this stuff is coming from people who don't seem to get a lot of information straight, anyways. So I don't know. I don't know the truth about anything. It sounds like a lot of rumors, a lot of people talking smack, or talking truth. I don't know. But I'm not going to propagate that stuff without knowing. So, apart from the rumors and stuff going on out there, that's all I know about it. What do you guys know? What do you guys got?
I don't know anything.
Well, that's why we have you here, man.
I know as much as the people reporting.
The other thing that happened I thought was kind of neat was that Stalker, who got shot outside of the NXT like a year or two ago, he was back trying to get in again during the filming of Raw, and he was live streaming it from Facebook Live at the time.
Yeah.
Did you watch the whole?
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did see the clip where Lacey Evans was clearly heard off screen saying, "If you want to come on Raw, come on in right now. I'll hold the door open for you. Come on down. Do you want to do this? Do you want to go home, or do you want to be on Raw? Come through the door." And he starts to like go, "Okay," and as he walks over, he goes, "Wait a second," and then he looks at the police, goes, "You're gonna arrest me if I go through there, aren't you?" And the guy's like, "You know what we're here for, man." And he goes, "It's a trap." It's like,
She's like, I heard. I watched a little bit of it, and I heard her do a countdown too.
yeah, she was counting. "I'll give you 5 seconds if you can make it down here." It was so funny. And you heard Dana Brooke being over there.
Really doesn't make me happy. Like, I feel...
Yeah.
It's fucked up. It's scary. It's unfortunate, too, because the guy's unwell.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not well.
And doing that, but, like, where you're, like, you know, counting someone down to bring them on.
She was a police officer in a police person in the military.
Yeah, she was an MP when she was in the Marines. I'm sure
Yeah,
it wasn't
that's
like
still entrapment.
I mean, I don't know if it's entrapment.
It's still unethical as hell, in my eyes, to be like goading someone on. The police can, like, if he's that close, he's on property.
Yeah,
Police can go talk to him.
He's also been a threat before.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like a physical threat. So if you can do something that you think would allow for a non-violent apprehension, I don't know why you wouldn't try.
I mean,
would there be a loophole for him being invited in?
I don't know, man. I'm not a lawyer. And I didn't tell Lacey to do it either.
Well, Florida's got those wacky laws, and
that's true.
like,
they think alligators is pets.
Well, like, I mean, for, like, if, say, there's a restraining order against that, or, like, a hold barring him from the building, you could make an argument if you did have a lawyer. If somebody's trying to, like, yeah, come on, that's, like, inviting. That can,
if
you know
there's
what I mean?
anything I know about the Performance Center, it's that it's no holds barred. So you're talking out of your ass, Clump.
Damn it, Mark.
just more pointless aggression.
Yeah, pointless aggression. If it is your first time listening, the one thing you'll notice that sets us apart, the thing that makes us different from all the other shows out there, is pointless aggression. That's our truth. Pretty sure it only counts as entrapment if it's the police or an arresting party setting it up. I kind of think that's true too. That's why I mean, like, I don't know why Lacey wouldn't try to be involved, saying like, "Oh, I can't tell you they won't arrest you. I don't know what they'll do. I'm just saying is I'll hold the door for you." And then the police can be all like, "We're not telling you to go in there. No one's telling you to do what she said." And when the guy asked the police straight up, "If I do that, you're going to arrest me, right?" And the guy's like, "Well, I mean, that's why we're here.
I'm not gonna."
Yeah, it's what I'm tasked to do right now. It's kind of, we're both on like opposite sides of the same coin here. Like we're both trying to wrap this up one way or the other, and that's our way.
But luckily, it wasn't dangerous.
I don't know how it ended. I have no idea how it ended. I would imagine if it ended in a violent fury, we would have heard about that.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I have no idea how it ended outside of that. Any other wrestling news? Anybody in the chat got wrestling news you wanted us to touch on? Those are the only two things I knew of off the top of my head.
No, I didn't hear anything.
No.
I'm looking to see if there's anything else that came up about the guy.
Yeah, you're just looking on Newsweek. That's great.
Alright, so.
What the fuck would you like to find out?
All right, did either of you watch AEW or NXT this week?
No.
AEW.
You didn't watch NXT at all?
Nope.
Let me run down some of NXT real quick, though, and then we'll get to AEW so that we just get that stuff out of the way. They are really pushing Dexter Lumis. Simone Johnson liked my tweet. Oh, GR Lunar got a tweet liked by Simone Johnson.
Woo!
She knows Caleb Braxton, dude. Come on, man.
There's your in.
I got to do all the legwork for you? I can't do the legwork if you're not willing to put in the third legwork. They're really pushing Dexter Lumis. I don't know how I feel about his character, man. Like, I get it. I just don't think it's clicking with me, but I'm, like, still willing to watch it. It's coming off really Lifetime movie-esque is how he's really coming off to me. As they do things, he's, like, popping up behind people and standing up all sitting, staring straight. And then as soon as everyone... Roddy's like, he's right there! And everyone turns around, he ducks underneath, and everyone's like, dude, what are you talking about? He's not there. And it's like... It's coming off real fucking corny. But he does look like a mean motherfucker, so... I don't know. I'm sort of into it, sort of not. It's kind of hard. Let's see. Yeah. Finn Balor did some good stuff. It looks like they're setting up Adam Cole against Karrion Kross, which I think will be pretty cool. There was a pretty neat mixed tag match with Keith Lee and Mia Yim against Johnny and Candice, which was actually pretty decent. Let's see. Cameron Grimes. I'm really disliking Cameron Grimes now. I liked him up until this episode.
Why?
He has become such a fucking cartoon. He doesn't even sound like it's really his voice anymore. He sounds like he's doing the yokel from Simpsons. Yeah. He was like, oh, yeehaw, all the time. And I was like, oh, come on. You didn't talk like that before. You really went in on it this time.
Come on, Cletus.
Yeah. Oh, come on, Mr. Regal. Because that was the whole thing, right? So he gets punched by Damian Priest for talking shit. And then Drake Wirtz, the referee, is on a FaceTime call with William Regal saying, Cameron says his jaw's broken. He can't wrestle Finn Balor tonight. He says his jaw's broken. And so Regal's all like, take me to him. You know, all weird in a FaceTime. So he walks over there with the iPad and, like, it cuts over to him talking to two women. He goes, oh, yeah, I'm fine. I don't know what. There's nothing wrong with me. How are you ladies? And just really going on like that. And Drake, obviously, is behind him with the iPad. And he goes, hello. And he goes, leave me alone. I'm fine. I don't need to talk to you. Get out of here, ref. And then eventually they do the whole cartoonish thing. Turns around. And he's all like, And so he's holding up the iPad. And he's all like, well, Mr. Regal ordered my jaw. And he's like, you were fine a minute ago. And they did the whole thing, dude. The whole thing. And he was such a fucking cartoon. I wanted to see him get his ass kicked. So, from a heel perspective, good work.
Alright.
Then they did a little vignette thing with Breezango. It was meant to make them really endearing, I think, and for you to really support them in their wrestling. It did not. It reminded me how much I don't like them or anything that they've ever done in the company. But that they are good in the ring. It reminded me of that. So I was like, okay, well, they do put on good matches. However, I like nothing else you've ever done. So
I'm the only one here who liked Fashion Files.
Yeah,
I like the Fashion Files.
Oh, for fuck's sake, dude. The Fashion Files was awful.
They were hilarious.
They were great.
So bad, man. Let me see.
It's better than the Street Profits and Viking Raiders are doing.
We'll get
into that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's probably true. I'd probably rewatch Fashion Files before I rewatched the Viking Prophets. Let's see. Robert Stonebrand. I didn't like him before. I like him less now. I'm just really tired of seeing him on the TV at all. He could just disappear now for me. Rhea Ripley's looking good, looking strong. Cameron Grimes loses to Finn Balor in a rematch, which is nice. Let me see. There was something else that happened on the show. Oh, Drake Maverick came out and told El Hijo Let me see. Well, Dakota Kai and Casey Canizaro had a match that was kind of brutal, but pretty solid. Wow, this is moving slow. So El Hijo del Fantasmio. What? Phantasma.
Nailed it.
He was Cruiserweight champion. Drake came out and said, "Oh, I know everyone's talking about me, but they should be talking about you." Blah blah blah. And then the masked guys who've been kidnapping everybody in the parking lot show up and they surround the ring. El Hijo and Drake Maverick go back to back because they're like, "We can do it. We can take these masked assassins, as it were." And then El Hijo turns around, beats the shit out of Drake. The other guys jump in, beats the shit out of Drake. So they're all three just beating the shit out of Drake. And then they all three take off their masks. And they're the guys who were kidnapped and also El Hijo without a mask. So his name now is Santos Escobar. Yeah. Which, okay, you're a villain. I get it. I'm not supposed to cheer anybody.
It does sound like the most 90s B movie.
Yes.
Bad guy villain before land.
Yeah. What's that drug dealer's name? Santos? Was it Escobar? You use them both.
Hey, Dork Chop joined us in chat. Woo!
Dork Chop, you made it. Let's see, goddamn Twitch didn't send me notification. What's up, fellas? What's up, Dork Chop? You'll be happy to know we're also available on podcasts now, so you can always check us out there. You can subscribe on YouTube to watch anything you missed, and you can always go back and listen on the old podcast. I don't have a problem with them calling him Santos Escobar, to be honest. I think it immediately lets you know, oh, I don't like this guy. And I think they actually hurt Drake Maverick in that beatdown. So
Jared Lunar likes it.
Jared Lunar likes it. Oh, I thought someone else said that too. Yeah. Blue Boy, they just started a little bit ago. Yep. Thatcher had a cool little vignette thing. And then did it end with... No. And then Dexter Lumis was doing that stupid I'm meant to be creepy stuff, which really to me comes off as a little cartoonish. Little Scooby-Doo. It's a little Scooby-Doo for me.
Well, maybe some people like Scooby-Doo.
People are loving Dexter Lumis.
Nobody likes Scooby-Doo.
John Cena likes Scooby-Doo. He was in the thing. John Cena was in Scooby-Doo.
That doesn't sell it for me. That makes John Cena worse, not Scooby-Doo better.
It's better.
John Cena brings talent.
John Cena brought what?
Kid.
Clap!
I said John Cena brings talent up.
Yeah, he elevates. That's the whole thing. That's all he's ever done. You think Nexus was going anywhere without John Cena? He made them something we still talk about. If it weren't for John Cena, we wouldn't still be talking about Nexus.
Yeah, we talk about that thing that John Cena crushed.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
To be fair, as a kid, whenever I would watch TV, if I saw Scooby-Doo, it kind of ruined my day.
Because it was the only person you'd ever seen who ate more than you.
What about Garfield?
No.
Oh.
Garfield was cool.
Were you...
Garfield and I...
All right, quick.
Actually, I hate lasagna, though, so I'm cool with Garfield because he eats lasagna I don't have to eat.
That's true. So it's not... Yeah, but you would...
How do you hate lasagna?
I despise lasagna.
Is it the ricotta?
No, I like ricotta. There's everything that's in lasagna I like. I like pasta. I love meat sauce. I love meat. I love Italian-y things.
Yeah, you like cheese.
Together, it's
you like
just
ricotta.
Overcooked shit, noodles, everything's just bleh. And, why I hate it is, whenever I say I don't like lasagna, people are like, oh, yo, you gotta try this one, or my mom, or from this restaurant, and I'm like, no, you don't understand, I'm not gonna like it. And they get pushy, and I'm like, fine. I take a bite, and I'm like, fuck this, it's still terrible.
Yeah. I feel like we all feel the same way as you feel right now. We can all agree that was terrible. Let's see. Elle says not a fan of pasta cake. It is a pasta cake, and that's why I'll eat it with frosting and candles. Let's see. WOTR jumps in. It slides around, which is annoying. What the fuck happened to the show? Italian casserole by Dork Chop, Barenanigans, boom. It slides around, which is annoying. What do you mean, like it falls off your plate? How tall is this lasagna? What the fuck is going on? It also sounds like no one knows how to cook lasagna.
All right, well, if you're really interested in foibles, you can go over to the Not Sam.
Yeah, if you want to know more about food issues, check out Not Sam's Annoying Eater. And while you're on YouTube, go ahead and give us a subscribe as well. I will say this about NXT this week. It was probably one of the better episodes I've seen of NXT in quite some time.
Why?
It was, overall, it made a lot of sense. It was a good pace. The matches weren't going on forever long. There was a lot of story in there, and each match was part of another story, where I feel like a lot of times what we've seen in NXT is how many long matches can we fit in here, and how quickly can we make a match that could otherwise be long, even shorter but faster. Like, it's just, I never feel like the pacing is right for me. This one, I felt like the pacing was much better.
It felt like they were trying to make every show this epic pay-per-view. And
yes. And it's exhausting, man. It's totally exhausting. Bernanigan says Italian enchiladas. What?
We finally got
that's what lasagna is.
Are you talking about like enchilada casserole? Because there's a difference between enchilada casserole and enchiladas.
Not if you're white enough.
What?
Okay, alright.
Someone needs to make me green chili enchilada casserole now.
That sounds delicious.
I'll do that.
That's where we're at now. That's what's happened here. Is I need more bourbon and more green chili chicken enchilada casserole.
No, you don't.
And no one make it all slidey off of a plate. What the fuck was that?
I love the concern. No, you don't.
Yeah. G.R. Luna's like, nope, no, nothing Mexican food-wise for you. He's been in the room before. Let's see, some sopas are coming up.
Out of the room right now.
Yeah, no, this is the time.
Yeah.
No,
Load it up.
Yeah.
Should we just do a food show now?
I'm still here live. Please, no.
Producer here. I don't want to be eating a face full of farts. That's what you sound like right
That's
now.
not what I sound like.
That's exactly what that came off like to everyone.
Never sounded like that.
Sopapillas. Let's see. AEW. AEW. Sorry about running through NXT kind of the way that we did. No one else watched it but me, so I didn't feel the need to focus on it. So if there's anything you guys want to throw out, you can throw it out. Let's see. It's a food channel now. Yeah, the whole thing's turned into a food channel. Clump's been asking since we started if he could make videos to put up on the YouTube of him cooking and stuff. And from the beginning, we've said, yes, record anything and I'll edit it for you and make it good. And he's always said, yes, I'm going to do that this week. He's never produced a thing.
Also, on top of side projects, if we're on that topic, there's a nice little figure he bought that he said, oh, I'm going to paint this for you, and it's going to be this awesome.
He didn't buy it. I bought it for me. And then when I got it, he said he could customize it. There he is, not even started.
He's got it.
There's no different color on it. He hasn't stripped any of the paint down off of it. He told me he was halfway through it 6 months ago. So I bought a case for it, a display case that looks like you didn't even take it out of the box. It was out of the box when you got it. You can't even say that much wasn't done. I had a custom-made enclosure made that looks like a Funko box with LED lights that says Cody and it says the Brotherhood and it's AEW and it looks so good. And it's sitting in the back because he's got that fucking pop there. He won't even start. I even told him to make time-lapse videos. I'll do the video. Just give me the footage. Nothing.
And what is the figure? Remind me what the figure is.
Dorkchop says I would make a good series. It's a Cody Rhodes figure.
You can see it. It's not done right in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, if you're watching live or if you're watching on YouTube, it's right there. He's holding it up. It's Cody. Looks brand fucking new and couldn't be less customized.
That's how good I am at this.
Try again.
Brian?
Oh, yeah? You're like, well, I wanted to see what it would look like if I recreated the same thing. I feel like it looks good. You'd swear it was mass-produced this way. WWE Cookbook. Dorkchop says it would make a great series. I think it would if Clump would record fucking anything. I had them do the video. What was the one where we all like had to get ready really quick?
Oh, I forget what it's called.
It was the challenge about getting ready fast or something.
Yeah, the Get Ready Challenge or something like that.
The Get Ready Challenge. Took Clump days to get me a 30-second video.
I put effort into bullshit.
It's true. Let's see. GR Lunar says he's going to start recording random videos and sending them for me to edit, and I will edit the shit out of it for content. Clump wouldn't know that because he's never submitted anything. Sorry. You can check out our Pointless Aggression shirt on prowrestlingtees.com/wrestlingontherocks.
You quit.
Yeah.
The first video when I do it is just gonna be me flipping off like every step of cooking.
Yeah, it's gonna be him. He's gonna like hold up like ingredients, have them all out, and then it's just gonna be like 3 minutes of him giving me the finger, and then just a plate that's already not got no food on it. You can see the food was on it, and it was eaten, and it's just a fork with remnants on it. And he goes, "It was fucking delicious, prick." And then that's how it ends.
Just when a microwave a fucking hot pocket just flip you off while it's behind me.
Yeah, just a hot pocket. Beep. What wrestler would you say inspired the hot pocket?
Dusty Rhodes Muffler.
Ugh. Gross. They like the plug. It's funny. Let's see. AEW. Kevlar, did you watch any of AEW?
I did not.
Good. Clump, what did you watch of AEW?
I watched it. I'm not a fan of it, but I watched it. I mean, I
Oh, wait, you're not a fan of AEW?
Oh, go fuck yourself, Kevin. You're not. I'm not falling into this trap. I watched AEW. I wanted to like so much of this show, but I just was like, damn it, you're doing things, but the things that you're doing piss me off because you're acknowledging what you're fucking up. Like the whole thing of FTR. I heard fucking JR go, they follow the rules. And I'm like, so we're acknowledging that we're shit at tag team wrestling?
Yes, I loved it, dude. Look at this. They're doing it, man. They're doing the thing that I said they've created a world in which the people who follow the rules are the bad guys. That's incredible.
It's like Bizarro World.
Yeah, they've created a rule or a world where cheating is what the good guys do because they don't need rules because it's video game stuff. So when you actually present actual wrestling with rules, everyone goes, "What the fuck?" and they lose their minds. It's hysterical. They did it. WOTR is asking Kevlar where all the chargers are. Do you have everything plugged into that room?
No.
No. All right.
Okay, well.
Yeah, ask Nash.
You can message.
She can't though. He's using the phone.
No. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's on the phone.
Yeah.
No, that was
That was
appropriate
my favorite.
use.
My favorite message ever in our chat.
Yeah. Excuse me, where are the chargers? Yeah, dinner's ready.
I want one for my spouse to be like, "Hey, we need TP."
Or, hey, you need to flush next time.
Jesus, I smelled that part from here.
Yeah. I couldn't hear you, but I smell what's happening. Let's see. I thought that tag team match was actually one of the best tag team matches that AEW's ever had.
It was fantastic, and it would have been great if they didn't acknowledge that, because that just stuck in my head. Oh, fuck you.
Dude, I think it was so good because it pointed out the fact that there's a lot of places this story can go. And I think that the thing that really made me go, you guys are just, you don't know what you're doing, is when the Young Bucks come out and then they say, we're the best tag team in all of AEW, and we've been carrying tag team wrestling for a decade and a half. And I was like, you guys are stupid, because you've also created a world where wins and losses matter, where you've never won the titles. You've only had one shot at the titles, which you had to win a battle royal to get into because you did so bad in your regular matches, you didn't earn a shot at the titles. You lost in the first round of the original tag team tournament against a team that didn't even go to the next round. Like, you guys have performed absolutely terrible in all of AEW. You have one of the most losing records in all of AEW. There's nothing about you other than the fact that JR keeps saying on commentary that you're the best tag team in the world that makes anybody who watches your product believe it. So they came off as these weird entitled idiots and saying we're the absolute best, and you're like, based off what? You've created a world where you don't have to follow the rules, and you are EVP, and you still can't win. You know what
I mean, imagine how this rant would have gone if they held all the belts. That's the one thing I always think is like, yeah, it's kind of shit that you say that because it's not true anymore. But damn, would I be annoyed at Marsh if like Cody and the Bucks and Kenny Omega just put all the belts on them?
But I've been saying since the start, I was surprised that they didn't, just because you have to establish they're good first. Right? I thought that was the point of bringing them in ZVP, is to protect their booking so they would be strong, so they would be champions. So yeah, some people would say, oh, look, you have a title, you had to make a company to be a title. Well, you also had to do that to establish that you're the fucking best. And once you can say you're the best and you make those championships mean something, then when you lose it, it's a big deal. But having never won it, you just come off as another jobber in here who just happens to be an EVP. I mean, even from the beginning, I said I even said Young Bucks should win the titles. If they're going to say they're the best, they should have won the tournament. I said it from the beginning. I said, yes, it would feel shitty that you say, oh, the EVPs put it on themselves. But how else are you going to say that they're the best? And now here we are, them saying they're the best and losing all the time.
I mean, having watched a little bit of early TNA, when Jeff Jarrett was like...
But Jeff Jarrett had a whole history above him that people had seen.
Yeah, there's a lot of people here in the States that haven't seen the Bucks' body of work.
And there's a lot of people in Japan who have seen the Young Bucks' body of work and think very low of them. They were not billed very well in NJPW. And that's part of the reason they have bad blood over there, is because they felt underappreciated and underutilized because they were booked pretty shitty out there because they didn't respect them there either. So they have everything to prove by saying we're the best and no one's giving us a fucking shot. Now we're going to bet on ourselves, start this whole company where we can not only prove it, but be it. You know? Dorkchop says Young Bucks are 2-2 in 2020, so they can't really talk shit. Their best work was in ROH, but no one watches ROH. Right. No one was watching during that time. So I think that regardless of what they had, you can say that about TNA, but again, Jeff Jarrett had an entire bodywork behind him. Everyone who was in TNA had a whole body of work. You can watch decades of stuff to say, did you really need that, man? We already know you're pretty good. Young Bucks have nothing to lean on but ROH in America, and no one watched that. The viewership was low. They needed to do this, and now they sound stupid.
Yeah, Georgia.
Yeah.
That sounds stupid.
Yes, you do, Club! But I do think it's really cool. Wow. Apart from them sounding stupid for saying that they're the best when they clearly are not, I am fascinated by the idea. Listening to Jim Cornette's podcast, he had FTR on. That's why I went back to listen to it, because I stopped listening to him a while back. But I wanted to hear FTR talk to Jim Cornette for the first time. I don't know how much of it was promo and how much of it was real, because they were trying to come off like they were real the whole time, but you're listening to some of this going, no, that's a promo. But they did talk about how the whole FTR thing, the whole Fuck the Revival thing, came across from Young Bucks on their social media and their being the elite without the knowledge or permission of the Revival. They had no idea who they were, and this started happening. They had heard of the Young Bucks, but they didn't know them. And they weren't approached by this. They just started doing this Fuck the Revival thing because the Young Bucks thought they were the best in the world, and guys like Meltzer and the Wade Kellers and stuff were saying the Revival, while they were in NXT and stuff, were putting on the greatest matches in tag team wrestling that people had ever seen in a long time. They were winning awards over there. They were getting best tag team in the world stuff. And the Young Bucks were upset by this and didn't understand why it wasn't them, so they started the whole Fuck the Revival thing. And the guys were saying that really bothered them. That they were actually legitimately upset about it. And so then, that's what I'm saying, now they started to blur it between promo and not. They said, yeah, we'll get in the ring with them, but the thing is we actually can fight. So if they don't play by our rules, we'll just actually beat the shit out of them. And Cornette's laughing, obviously, and I'm all like, I believe that too, though. Like, they're believable that they could actually be in a bar fight and win, where the Young Bucks would not. So, I don't know how much...
The Young Bucks would kick the shit out of a video game tournament.
Hell yeah! See, Dorkchop says, Bucks made a mistake by not putting themselves over from the jump. Would have been better for them to lose the titles to someone to give them the rub, rather than working to win with them when they're supposedly the best, and I love the Bucks. Just bad kayfabe, that's door chop, and that's what I think too. They needed to go in there and say, of course we won the tournament. We're the fucking best. What do you want us to do? Lose on purpose? You know what I mean? Like it's.
I feel like one. Go ahead.
No, I just think that it's easy to even write that. You know what I mean? If we didn't win this tournament, it would have been obvious it was fake because we are the actual best. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like one member of the elite should have gotten a belt. Like, I feel like, yeah, it might have split them. It could have created some tension, but one person should have gotten a belt because they've all been focused on building people, and that's great. I think Cody's done it the best, but it then de-establishes what they're supposed to be, or it makes it this weird, like, wait, why are you so awesome? It would be like if somebody started watching wrestling in 2008 with Hulk Hogan and TNA, and you're like, wait, why is this guy important? Like they'd been in a coma for 40 years.
Yeah. But that's just it too, is why is Cody so good at putting people over and it meaning something? Because Cody's got an entire body of work people know about. Cody did all this stuff with the NWA that people were paying attention to. Cody was doing all this stuff with the WWE that people were paying attention to. He's a former
NWA
champion.
wasn't that big.
It wasn't that big, but people were talking about it and people were paying attention to it. People were not paying attention.
If you're going to make that argument, people were talking about NJPW and ROH in the same conversation at that time.
I wouldn't say same conversation. I knew a lot more about Nick Aldis and Cody getting a match than I knew about the Young Bucks and anyone they'd ever had a match with.
And I didn't know shit about Nick Aldis. Like, I feel like they're the same level of awareness, just to different groups. Like, I would make that argument.
Are you reading the chat?
No, I got a really weird text message right now. I don't know what it means. It's from someone in Pennsylvania. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
It looks like you just smelled fart.
Yeah, say they only just now started being on TV again. Yeah, I think that the Young Bucks did a bad thing with booking themselves poorly. And I think that Cody, people have been paying attention to. You might not have known about Nick Aldis. I didn't know a lot about Nick Aldis other than I knew he was the NWA champion, but I couldn't have told you who the IPGW champion was. And I couldn't have told you the last match that the Young Bucks had. I can't even tell you what match the Young Bucks had in All In, but I do know it was Cody versus Aldis for the title, for the NWA title. You know what I mean? Like, people who didn't care about NJPW cared about the NWA title and Cody and what he was doing.
I mean, arguably people that didn't care about NWA might have cared about the Ring of Honor stuff there or the NJPW stuff there.
They could have.
I think, like, when you talk about All In, it was a weird thing in that it merged so many different things. I was more into NJPW at the time, but I was like, oh, cool. Well, I'm going to learn about these people from Ring of Honor. Oh, cool. I'm going to learn a little bit about the 10 pounds of gold. And this weird, large-headed Englishman who talks too much.
Yeah.
With his deep-ass voice.
It's just so good.
If it was 50% long.
Yeah.
But I feel like all of them, like, I agree with you in the sense that, like, they're not booking themselves well. I don't think what makes Cody better in this is so much what he had prior, going from in Ring of Honor and Impact and NWA and WWE. I think it's that he's gone further in tournaments, or he's done better at creating feuds that don't revolve around a title but have weight.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like the Young Bucks or Kenny Omega have done that as well.
Yeah, they've got neither. They've got neither thing to lean on, where I think Cody's got both. I think Cody's just smarter with his work.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling about this whole Allie joining the Natural Nightmares and Dustin being upset about it and the Butcher and the Blade no longer having her by their side? Do you think it's leading to Allie infiltrated the Naturals to get the Butcher and the Blade over?
Yeah, I mean, they got to do something to get the Butcher and Blade over, because I really like the Butcher and Blade in the ring. Their look, the way they perform, I like them a lot. They're two big, scary motherfuckers. I don't know if this is going to get them over.
I like them, and this was the best match I'd seen them in, was with FTR.
Yeah.
But I just wonder if it's going to come down to Butcher and Blade against the Naturals, and then she's going to turn and join back up with Butcher and Blade, and then they kind of shot themselves in the foot because they didn't think of it before they already put her on TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They thought of it after the fact. Now they're trying to backtrack and just be like, just don't talk about it. It never happened.
Yeah. It is weird.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've talked about, like, in WWE, I've said, like, hey, we need more factions here because factions can be cool. But I feel like in AEW, I'm like, we need less factions.
At this point.
We need a lot. We need, like, one lone, like, badass. You know?
Yeah. I agree. I mean, you got Darby Allin skateboarding with Tony Hawk, so he's kind of a lone badass. He's friends with Tony Hawk.
Bad.
Yeah. I also like where he's all like, I might not be cleared to wrestle, but I can skateboard off a ladder. I was like, break your arm, dude. Just break it. Just fucking break it and be out for a while.
I saw that and I was like, I know people who do action sports. We have a friend who does action sports, and he worked with us for a long time. And what was the most notable thing about him? Him being in a cast a significant amount of his time at work.
Yeah, the dude walked around like Mick Foley, and he's like 19.
Yeah.
And like, fuck.
And I'm like, and I love you to death, man, but like, maybe calm this down a bit, because fuck.
Yeah.
I would see that and be like, Tony Hawk or who? It's all because they're re-releasing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Oh, good. Thank God. I'm glad that there's a good explanation for this.
No, like you're seeing Tony Hawk everywhere because of that, and that's fine. I'm cool with that. I'm gonna buy the game, yeah, but I don't think I need to see.
Is Darby a playable character in the game?
God damn it! If he is,
if he's not, fuck him. if he's in the game, I'll buy it. If Darby Allin's in the game.
God damn it! I bet
Tony
you he
Hawk.
is now.
Original.
Yeah.
It is. It's a re-release of the original too.
Let's see. Dorkchop says by all accounts the Young Bucks aren't booking themselves. Tony Khan is. Maybe that they could pull a little harder for themselves, but Tony has the book. I wish I felt like Tony wasn't up the Young Bucks' ass as the biggest fanboy of them all, but I'm just not buying into that. That dude couldn't be a bigger Cody and Young Bucks mark, and I don't... Unless you're saying that he books them like they're the best and that's why they lose, is because he goes, but everyone knows you're the best. If that's true, then I think the whole reason you bring those guys on as EVP so they can sit them down and be like, dude, what are you talking about? No one's ever seen us. But the problem is their ego gets in their own way too, and they go, yeah, no, everyone knows.
I feel like there might have been a point where, Tony Khan was the biggest fan of Cody and the Young Bucks, and then Chris Jericho came into play, and I don't give a shit about you two.
Yeah, maybe.
It's felt like Jericho's been way more the spotlight here, and it's not being... It's been the thing that's been the most frustrating to me.
Yeah, he's awful on commentary.
He's awful.
Yeah. Dorkchop also says, fuck it, bring in Tony Hawk as Darby's manager.
I saw that. I love that.
Yeah, could be good. Blue Boy could see it. What was the other
I mean, if Tony Hawk came out with Darby Allin, I think he'd be like, no, he'd give him some fucking pads.
Like knee pads and elbow pads? You're so good,
yeah,
dude.
Tony Hawk wore butt tons of pads whenever he, skated. He'd be like, cool, you're going to wear some pads. We're going to stop doing this shit. There's no reason for you dumbass to skate down to the ring.
Wouldn't that be funny if he just kept running out, stopping him from doing stuff? No! What are you doing, dude?
Tossed him a helmet. No, if you're going to jump off the rope, it's these.
He gets on the top rope and he grabs him and then puts a helmet on him and hands him elbow pads. He goes, I'm not fucking letting go until you put these on, dude. You'll break your arm. Chris Statlander got hurt in their fatal four-way. Or their tag match, whatever it was. They're getting hurt a lot. I mean, now you got Britt Baker and Chris Statlander hurt. It's not good.
Britt Baker's video is amazing, though.
What part?
I loved the whole video of her, getting, recovering. It was the funniest shit to me. I'm sorry.
All right, if you like it, good.
The Irish 4 likes Jericho and Mike?
The Irish 4, would I like Jericho on the mic? Oh.
What? I like Jericho and Mike.
Yeah. Well,
Not how you read it.
Yeah. Well, punctuation's king. I'm kidding. I'm
Stop
kidding.
it.
No. Well, it means stuff.
Thank you for watching, The
Yeah.
Irish.
Cheers to the Irish.
Cheers.
Drinking. I hope it's something Irish. Okay, so do you like Jericho's promos or his commentary or both? I think that listening to Jericho on commentary once, you've heard it all because he recycles all of his own jokes over and over again. I don't find him interesting. I don't feel like he's adding much to it. He comes off goofy. Did you also notice how Jim Ross called a move? I forget which one it was. He called a move, and then Excalibur then recalled the move with a different, newer name for it. A fancier foreign name for it. And I was all like, that's the move that JR just called by its original American name. Why are you confusing things or trying to make JR sound stupid? What the fuck, Excalibur? Yeah, he needs to go, dude. I'll tell you this. If Excalibur was gone, but we just had Jericho, I'd be happier. I'd rather Jericho over Excalibur.
I wanted to like Jericho in commentary. The first week he did it, I was like, okay, this is pretty awesome. The problem I had was it repeated. Like, I think he could be good on commentary. I liked his podcast. And I've liked him on the mic. I just want him to do more and get a little bit out of the character.
Yeah. I mean, it could
Like,
also
that's
be...
it.
I could be biased. I could be tired of him. You know, I'm not above...
I think that's
saying
what we
that I'm-
are, is we're kind of tired of him. Because, yeah, that's been my struggle. Like, to D. Irish's point, I loved Jericho coming into this. I was so excited. I sent you pictures of the announcement with Jericho there, and I was so pumped. And now I'm like, man,
Yeah.
this sucks.
Yeah, I think that he's become essentially a parody of himself, I think is what bothers me. Let's see, Dorkchap, when Jericho did commentary, they filmed 26 matches in a day, so I'm sure that's why he was repeating himself a lot too.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's a lot in one day.
I mean, I think that's more of a reason you don't repeat yourself. Did I say that
If
earlier
you-
today or not? Yes, I said
If
that
he
20
said
minutes
that
ago.
at some point in like one show, man, that botched a lot of matches today, I'd be like, you know what? I won't give him some credit. That's fair. I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, I think overall for me, just Jericho's become such a parody of himself, and he's recycling so much of his own stuff that I just don't get as into it.
Well,
Excalibur should get in the ring and wrestle once and go away. Yeah, I'm not against that. He could beat up, who was it, who was the guy he beat the shit out of at the bar?
Jimmy Havoc.
Jimmy Havoc. He could beat the shit out of Jimmy Havoc. And an
He got beat by
unsanctioned
Kevin
street
Owens'
fight.
kid.
Yeah. In front of what?
He got pinned by Kevin Owens' kid.
really?
Kevin Owens has a kid?
Yeah.
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 Aren't they like babies?
Not
Yeah.
anymore.
Kevin Steen came out to the ring with Owen Steen
Just a little baby?
and El Generico like helped out, and Owen Steen pinned Excalibur.
When was this?
This was in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, this was years ago.
Years ago.
Yeah, when he was a baby. So they put the baby on Excalibur. That's pretty good.
How do you like that? The amount of shit you give me for liking silly shit, I'm expecting you to like be shitting your pants in rage.
Well, no, because Excalibur was never good to begin with. He was never serious. I'll tell you, what it does mean, though, is I think that's more of a reason to take your mask off. You don't want people to know that you're the guy who lost to a baby. But he does. He wants everyone to know, I'm the guy who lost to a baby. And that's the biggest match I ever had, probably.
I would like it if he took his mask off and his hair was just where the mask starts. So it's this weird, like, merge up and then baldness.
He should just do like a Kane thing and just pretend like it's not happening. What do you think about the Orange Cassidy, Blood Orange stuff?
Yeah.
I wasn't into it. I also thought it was way fucking obvious last week when he was all like, the baddest man on the planet. I was like, oh, is someone like Orange Cassidy about to walk in? Because he's refusing to say Mike Tyson, so he's clearly asking for someone else to come out. And then Orange Cassidy came out, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe it.
It was, yeah. I mean, I like Orange Cassidy so much, but it's getting old rapidly.
I don't think they're doing much with it. I think it is getting pretty old and repetitive. I think that's it too. I think if Orange Cassidy were in WWE, let's just say, and they came out and did all that same stuff, people would be annoyed at it, saying this is the same shit every week. Like with Lacey coming out and waving and walking away, people were furious at it. You know what I mean? Let's see. Excalibur takes his mask off. I am Carlos Santiago, the next NXT champion. There you go. Let's see. Joey Janela was doing stuff.
What if we find out that him and Rey Mysterio are the same person?
Or it's Dominic.
Oh, God.
John Moxley did a thing. Was there anything else in here that you thought was particularly great?
I'm reading through it because I don't remember too much of it. Let's see. I thought it was cool Sammy got a win over Colt Cabana, but then...
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, I mean, it was a weird clash of styles. I like Colt Cabana. I've been watching older Colt matches, and I'm like, I appreciate what you do more and more, dude. I kind of want to, like, I don't want you to have the belt. Because you are too good at being silly to be taken anything seriously. But, like, I mean... I appreciate it. I don't know if I want him to suddenly drop all the humor.
Yeah.
But I mean, the dude's athletic.
Yeah, I mean, he can be great if he wants to. He prefers to not be. He prefers to hide behind the laughter than to be taken seriously, even though he could be taken seriously because he's good enough. Which is a little bit weird. Let's see. TNT champion Cody against Mark Quinn. I was thinking about this the other day. I hope that no one challenges Cody to a first blood match because he wouldn't stand a chance.
Yeah.
That's a perfect match to challenge him to.
Yeah. But if he
accepts... If you're trying to win the belt.
Yeah, and then if he accepts, you go, Cody, come on! Your head's made of paper! Do you guys know...
We're going to do first blood match with Cody. Oh, that's why everything has bubble wrap on it now.
Who's the BL? What's the BL thing? The Irish is asking, do you guys know who the BL? Is there a mystery thing on there? Brody Lee?
Nah. We're all dating ourselves and sounding very old by not knowing something.
I'm not hip, man. I'm wondering if it's Brody Lee.
Yeah.
But, let's see.
Yeah, we are pretty old.
Yeah. There's nothing else in there that I was really thinking was all that great, although I did think that I was really excited about FTR and them doing what they're doing. So, see, Cody got the win on that. And then... Oh, Fyter Fest. That's the other thing I wanted to talk about. Was Fyter Fest. What do you think about Fyter Fest, dude? It's going to be 2 nights.
I mean, I don't think it needs to be. I really don't. Like, you're such a small company. You could do 1 solid night of stuff, and that's great. Maybe focus on that before we start focusing on 2 nights. You have a small roster, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. You can do a great 4-hour event. You know?
Right. So 2 things. The Irish was saying the Black. So do you guys know who the Black? But I don't know what that's in reference to. Do you?
No.
I don't think we know what that's in reference to. If you give us more context, we will tell you what we think. For sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. So here's the thing. So they're doing 2 nights of Fyter Fest. Do you know when they're doing it and where? Do you know how to watch?
I'm assuming it's going to be on Bleacher Report Live.
You'd be wrong. It's going to be live on TNT on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. 2 weeks in a row. They've renamed 2 weeks of Dynamite Fyter Fest. That's what they did. They said the next 2 weeks of Dynamite, call it Fyter Fest. Boom, pay-per-view.
I'm not upset with that. I mean, it's a creative way to do it.
What the fuck?
No, it's not.
No, you don't rename your weekly show for 2 weeks and be like, we gave you a pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's like if WWE did the King of the Ring tournament and said, all right, this month is King of the
They
Ring.
did qualifiers on TV.
And that sucked. We hated it.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe instead if they did it like, okay, on Friday on TNT for 2 weeks in a row we're going to do this, that'd be okay? Well, actually, that would be smarter. I'm going to shut up now.
Let's see. Me or Pretty likes our Fiend emote. I drew it myself, believe it or not. Go ahead and give us the old Twitch Prime. Subscribe. It's free to you. Buys me a drink, and you can get that Fiend emote. Let me see. Dorkchop says 2 nights is fine since it's on TV and can't do a full 4-hour pay-per-view unless they did an actual pay-per-view. Let's see. He said it's Dynamite like they did Bash at the Beach. Was Bash at the Beach really just a renamed Nitro?
I think towards the later years it was. They did it.
That could be.
Yeah.
GR Lunar says slap the pay-per-view seal on it. It's got the name. Yeah, I don't know, man. I do not like it, dude. Like, you just say, oh, we're giving you 2 nights. There's so much. We're going to give you 2 nights. A week apart on our regularly scheduled program. You're going to miss 2 weeks of Dynamite, but you are going to get 2 Fyter Fests. I'd rather they just did 1 show be Fyter Fest. Or I don't know why they couldn't do like they did last year and just make it a free pay-per-view. That was one that was free, remember?
Yeah,
that was the one that was the video game one, right?
That's the one that you want Cody painted up from. No, Fight for the Fallen is the video game one. Will you quit eating dog food, cat?
I'm pretty positive Fight for the Fallen was not the video game one.
No, it's my cat eating dog food. Quit, turd.
Yeah, this is good for the podcast.
It's the same stuff. They're fine.
No, it makes her throw up, and then I have to clean it up. It's annoying.
He doesn't want to do work.
Yeah, make it custom vomit, and then I'll feel sad.
Vomit emote.
Cat dog.
Yeah, so I thought Fight for the Fallen was not the pay-per-view one, or the video game one. I thought it was Fyter Fest because they had the little fighter emojis and stuff.
Nope. Fight for the Fallen was a video game one because it was in reference to the shooting at that Madden tournament.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
That was why Kenny got all uppity, or Kenny got all upset and stuff about things.
But wait, I watched Fyter Fest. Would I have paid for that if it wasn't free? I feel like I had to.
No, you would not have paid for it if it wasn't free.
Yeah. I would have only paid for it if it was free.
You paid for more AEW things than I have, which is upsetting, and I feel bad.
It is upsetting. Fyter Fest was the gaming convention one. See, Dorkchop says it too. Clump, get your head out of your ass.
God damn. You're an AEW correspondent, and you can't get this shit right.
Fyter Fest is the one that you want Cody painted up like.
No, that was Fight for the Fallen.
No, you said Fyter Fest. It was a tag match.
When he was in the tag match with his brother, it wasn't Fight for the Fallen. Watch, I'll tell you exactly who he fought right now. Fyter Fest 2019 results.
Wait, is there money on the line?
Cody.
There's a not
Fyter Fest.
Pop.
Cody and Darby Allin wrestled to a time limit draw.
Yeah, I thought you liked his trunks for that one because it was like red and black.
When he was in a tag match in Fight for the Fallen.
Oh, because it was with his brother who's wearing red and black.
Yeah, with his goddamn brother. The fucking Brothers of Destruction or something.
Man, aren't you glad I didn't do this?
I sent you fucking pictures that day and everything. Let me see. Fyter Fest, staying true to the power, smart move, grow the brand. In a smart move to grow the brand, they say, Fyter Fest was broadcast free on Bleacher Report Live. So, yeah, it was free. And you're dumbass. I'm tired of you pretending you know things. You're in front of a computer. You were Googling dude on Newsweek a minute ago. You didn't have to sound stupid.
Why do you have to sound like my therapist? I already got this shit once today.
That's true. Sorry, I need to drink more. That's on me.
Yeah, turd.
Fight for the Fallen. While I look at the Fight for the Fallen stuff, go ahead and swing by Pro Wrestling Tees and get your Pointless Aggression shirts.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I switched to Lion Cool Summer Shandy, by the way.
Ah,
I missed that
it's
one.
WrestleMania season already, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, Fight for the Fallen is where it was Young Bucks versus the Brotherhood. See the buy-in, had some stuff.
Do you like the grapefruit shandy?
Yes, I do.
In June 2019, AEW stated the Fight for the Fallen's gate proceeds will be donated to victims of gun violence. But that was also in Jacksonville, Florida, and that was not in it wasn't what the game thing. Fighter Fest was, dude, the game thing. Look what you made this whole show become.
Food?
Yeah, and that was one where the CEO had his own match, remember?
Yeah.
Wait, Tony Khan?
No, the other guy, Michael.
No.
Remember
Dude.
Alex Jabali when he went on with Michael Nakazawa. Remember? That was a Fighter Fest.
What's an Alex Jabali?
It was the CEO Fighting Games Con. And remember Jabali came out with a Seth Rollins shirt, but it looked like Jabali because he's a big fan of not AEW. The Bladers of Deconstruction. Sorry, I got sidetracked. I'm watching FS1 96 Survivor Series. Oh, come on, man. You could be watching us.
You
Got
watch
you in
the
one ear. I'm watching 96 Survivor Series in the other. All right. I mean, it's a good
I
show.
wish I was watching 96 Survivor
I
Series.
I don't blame you. Cheers.
I just want to watch something where I don't get yelled at.
You guys are the worst. Dorkshot's my only friend.
Did you pay him too?
Yes.
Wait, I thought we
Okay,
weren't paying. So you just giving me shit sparing subscribers? I can't cut a promo.
Right? That's what I've been saying.
That's why you like AEW.
Yeah.
Sparkling
Oh my
water
God.
pot.
You've turned this whole show upside down, dude. Let me see. Anything
I
else?
thought we were doing an Australian tour.
So bottom line, are you really that okay with them turning 2 weeks of Dynamite into Fyter Fest?
As the person who's supposed to like AEW, I'm a fan of it. As a person myself, not necessarily.
If they had done one night and someone would have reminded me that Bash at the Beach was the same thing one time, and maybe if they'd even gotten TNT to give them an extra hour, I'd say okay.
I would love that.
I'd say okay, that's special.
Considering TNT will randomly play the entire fucking Lord of the Rings series for a whole Saturday's worth of content because fuck programming, I think it'd be fantastic for them to be like, hey, this Saturday night, after we play Lord of the Rings, we're going to play this for 3 hours as a special event. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. If it was a 3-hour show, oh no.
Shorter than one Lord of the Rings movie.
I think the Irish is not a fan of me. We appreciate you hanging in anyways. Let's see. Dorkchop says, you guys are getting paid, question mark. And it says, every time I'm in here, the stream devolves into madness.
Yep.
We are paid when people subscribe. That's the only way we're paid.
Yeah, buy me a drink.
And not much, by the way.
Or I need a drink if I gotta keep reviewing this stuff with Clump. You are why I drink, Clump. My boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this show is is not for monetary purposes.
J.R. Lunar bought us a drink.
Good job.
Yeah, so that's how I feel about it. If it wasn't 2 nights, if it was one extended Dynamite, they called Fyter Fest, and I would have bitched about it and say, what the hell is this? And someone said they did the same thing with Bash on the Beach. I'd say, okay, you're right. I was out of line. And I would have accepted it and been okay with it. But the way they're doing it now, just doing 2 different ones. You know. Hey, Dorkchop giving us some bits.
Woo!
Bits on bits on bits.
Yeah. Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.
Whoop. I don't know what bits are, so I'm like, I appreciate them, but
I don't know how they work, but they're good to get, man. We got it.
Again, we're old-ish.
Yeah, welcome to the show where every show's like our first show.
We're still getting the hang of Twitch.
We've been on Twitch
they're
for
like
well over a
currency
year.
for a country that doesn't fucking exist.
Yeah. Clump still makes me rage out like a fucking barbarian.
Makes me proud.
Let's see. Wrestling Tattoo Guy says, yo, what's up, man? Thanks for coming through. Let's see. I don't know how they work either, dude. I'm in my 30s. But you did it. You figured out how to give us the bits, and we appreciate your bits, dude. Wrestling Tattoo Guy says, yo, and I say cheers to that. Thanks for coming through, man. You can always give us a follow. You can always check us out at WrestlingOnTheRocks.com to find out about our YouTube and our podcast and all that. D. Irish says, yes, I would not mind if they did turn Fyter Fest on 2 nights. Yeah, well, I mean, if people are into it, then they're into it.
I mean, I think more...
It just doesn't feel as special to me. I want it to feel
exactly.
special.
That's it. I want them to, like, I think it would be cool to make it special. I'd be cool if it were 2 nights, but make it like on a Thursday. Make it something unique.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it just doesn't feel special when it's the same amount of time on the same channel at the same time. If it started an hour early or 1 hour late, it feels special. It just doesn't feel special, and that's all it is. I'm bitching because I like my stuff to feel special when it's not a regular show.
It makes me think of when WWE would do, like, those weird special event Raws.
Yeah.
And they would... And some of them are cool, yeah, but, like, you would do something with it. Do something. Like, make me care.
Thank you, Dork Chop.
Yeah, Dork Chop just gifted a sub to Wrestling Tattoo Guy. If you notice, Wrestling Tattoo Guy, now you've got a 24... Well, it's not 24, never mind. It's a 5 o'clock somewhere championship belt next to your name, and you got yourself a Fiend and Vince McMahon emoji. Thank you, Dork Chop. Cheers!
Cheers, thank you.
Did it. Just as long as they didn't...
See, when it comes natural, it flows.
Yeah, it goes better. DR says, as long as it's not on AEW Dark, that makes sense too, yeah. If they've been like, Fyter Fest is going to be 2 nights, Tuesday and Wednesday. I'd be like, wait a second. Night 1's on YouTube and night 2's on Dynamite. You'd be like, fuck! Yeah, so at least they did that.
3 nights. It starts Monday on Being the Elite.
Yeah, exactly. Catch the pre-show on Being the Elite, and then part 1 on Dark. Let's see. All right, man. And then, yeah, GR Lunar says, I got to fix this thing. I don't know how it works. I don't think there's a motor. I don't know how it works. I think it wraps it up for me in AEW. I did think it was a better episode than late. I enjoyed more of it, but there was definitely still a lot of things where I was like, what is this? But
I like the truck.
I'm not a fan of Matt Hardy going in and out of his characters the way he does.
His accent was confusing the hell out of me
because
it was changing.
Yeah, I mean, he was changing his voice because he was doing different characters. He was literally going in and out of characters of himself, his different versions, his different gimmicks he's had throughout the years.
I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, I mean, I know it confused you because you're not familiar with the other versions.
Well,
For me, I knew them.
Like, I follow all his stuff, and so I've seen his, followed his YouTube.
Yeah, Dork Chop says this week's AEW was a wheel spinner, just setting things up. And maybe that's really what I liked about it, is it felt like there was a direction where a lot of times I'm like, what is happening? What do you think, real quick, about, before we go to SmackDown Club, the way that he's just been going in and out of all his different characters? Do you like it? I know some people think that it makes him the greatest of all time, and I just don't feel that.
It doesn't. I don't think it makes him the greatest of all time. I think they're doing this very rapidly.
Right, it feels.
I feel like Matt Hardy, in Broken Matt Hardy's a unique character. I feel like him switching around between all these things so much, it further emphasizes, like, him throwing back to other gimmicks and other companies.
Yeah.
And I don't mind that, but when it's so rapid, it's kind of crazy. Like, okay, I get it. I like the things you did at other places.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I feel like they could do more in a different way. Like, I think if he stuck with something, I think him as Broken Matt Hardy could be okay and just go bananas with it. Then again, also, Matt Hardy is a creative dude. If this is what he's doing, maybe there'll be some back into it, because he does follow through his shit. I will give him that.
Yeah, he's definitely applied himself to all of it, and I can appreciate that. And I know that he thinks what he's doing is great, and I appreciate that. I know he's having fun, so I can definitely appreciate that, and I definitely respect the dude. I think for me, for a company that's constantly trying to say we're definitely not WWE, we're definitely not about competition, we're definitely doing our own thing, it really feels like you're not doing your own thing when you have a character come in exactly like the character he was doing the weeks before on the other show, and then tell him to go in and out of all the characters he did on other shows, instead of just being solidly one version, or even maybe, because he's so creative, We haven't seen Big Money Matt on WWE stuff. He could have come in as Big Money Matt. You know what I mean? Why do you have to come in as Broken? But he did.
Yep.
I'd rather see him go between Big Money Matt and Broken than to see him go through version 2 or version 1 Matt Hardy, Team Extreme Matt Hardy, and Broken Matt Hardy. I'd rather see the Big Money Matt one, the one we never really saw in WWE. If he was doing more of the TNA stuff and less of the WWE stuff, I'd probably feel more comfortable with it because I'd be less familiar with it. But also, I still don't want them to do a ton of TNA stuff. I want this to be their own thing, man.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm not sure yet. Let's see. Yeah, D. Irish says they wouldn't go against Raw or SmackDown. So the idea of all the different shows for Fyter Fest. Let's see. Dorchuk doesn't think he hates it. He's not sure yet. I think it's cool they're acknowledging his history, but yeah, I'm not sure until it pays off somehow. I also just don't like how fluid it is. What version are me now? Okay, now I'm that one. Okay, I could be this one. It's like, I don't know. It feels real campy to me. It just feels campy, I think.
You don't like the faces of Hardy?
Huh?
So you don't like the faces of Hardy?
Yeah, the 3 faces of Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that could be. Maybe Mick Foley was just better at it. Let's see. It kind of feels like purposeless, like interesting, but not there for me. The other thing is I really want Taz. He still hasn't done it. I want him to come up with a catchphrase for Brian Cage that's not his own, but that's it. Apart from that, I like them together as a team a lot. Let's see. It is interesting that his different version appears depending on who he's around. But he fluidly goes through them, and it's like, oh, this one's not. You're not responding well to this one. Well, I guess I'll be this one. And it's like, I don't know. Maybe I just need to see it more. Maybe I'm just uncomfortable.
He's like a shoe store of characters.
Yeah, he's like a shoe store. Let's see. So that brings us to SmackDown. SmackDown Live. Are you ready?
For a good time.
Ready for a good time. What are you guys feeling about Sheamus and Jeff Hardy at this point?
I want to like it because I like both of them a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm just not feeling it.
Did you like Sheamus getting a mouthful of a giant pint of piss?
Yes.
It's pretty good.
Kinky, but not
I wanted to hate that part, but that part I was like, all right, well, we're getting a face full of piss. That's new.
Who cut it out?
Hulu cut it out, and I guess they said the replay for the West Coast didn't show all of it.
Really?
But we rewatched it on the 2 different. Maybe it was the Central Coast got it, but by the West Coast it didn't, because we watched it the replay.
People are weird with water sports.
Yeah, and he kept his mouth wide open, dude. They replayed it on
he-
Backlash. A
he
side
took
view of
that
it.
like
He's
a
like,
champ.
"Oh, goosh." It was pretty good. Let's see. It wasn't the exact same angle they did with Shawn and Vince. What's the Shawn and Vince angle they did? Like even the same script almost. How do you like the stuff they did with Jeff Hardy? Oh, that's exactly what we're talking about. So that's good. Was there a Shawn and Vince thing with piss? With a cup of piss?
It sounds familiar, but I don't remember.
I don't remember that.
Was this like a late version of DX? Because, I mean...
Yeah, I mean,
I think...
if Sheamus had stuffed his pants... 2006. Let's see. Here's a YouTube video of it. Let me see what's going on here. Shawn Michaels takes a urine test. Oh!
Yeah.
Okay.
2006.
I mean,
Wow,
to me, like,
Dorkchop is better at this than Clump.
none of us were watching it at that point.
Yeah, there's
That's
an
true.
article from a someplace that was saying, "Oh, it wasn't just bad; it was recycled." So
Really, I'll have to rewatch this video. I'm looking at it. They got that same fucking little setup with the
black.
black curtain that goes all the way to the mat because that's where his dick stops. And then, yeah, he's back there with a guy who looks like a really sad Jay Moore. Oh, yeah, that's a huge cup. He's got a huge cup of pee. It's almost got a mug handle. Yep, and he's doing the little Tweedledee in there. And then,
That was the part that was the weirdest to me. Is like, why? What is the point of him pissing that fucking much?
yeah, especially if he was just going to do a little chlorine test.
Yeah, the urine samples are like this big.
Yeah, they're
and that thing was freaking this thing.
Yeah, he even says, Doc, it's better to be pissed off than pissed on. Let's see. Didn't see
it.
It
Really is a very
show that scene. Oh yeah, you didn't. So D. Irish says they didn't show that on his on demand. So it does look like it was awfully the same. I'll have to watch it to see line by line, but it sounds like they definitely reused some lines on it, if not all of them. But the other thing is this: when you take a urine test, at a certain point they say, "All right, stop, go for the bull." Like they tell you to stop. They don't want that much.
Yeah, because they give you a cup this big.
Yeah. That's the other thing, too, is, why'd they bring out a fucking bedpan thing? Let's see, even still don't mind.
Why did they give, why a beer stein?
Yeah.
Why didn't it have a fucking handle?
Yeah. They give him, like, one of those big glass boots. Go ahead, fill it up, buddy.
That's good.
Yeah.
Here, we're just going to give you, like, an empty bottle of Bacardi so you can fill it up, like, like on a road trip.
Yeah. Dude, so at this point, what do you guys think of the storyline? And then we can even jump into it, because we'll go back and forth as we go. We see this happen. He gets the mouthful of piss. They have a little brouhaha in the back. And then at Backlash, Sheamus gets the win. So Sheamus gets revenge on getting pissed on. And so far as we know, he's the one who framed Jeff Hardy.
I mean, to me, it's like, it's frustrating because I want this to end. I did not like the angle from the beginning, because the angle, to me, is a really one-dimensional focus on somebody's problems. And I don't like this being done. I don't like the angle, period. And, I mean, it's not me being overly sensitive as somebody who's, recovering alcoholic. I don't like it because it just...
Cheers to that.
Yeah, thank you. Cunts.
What? We gotta cheers our buddy for doing a good job.
Yeah. We're gonna redo this that 2 years where I come in with a bunch of fake alcohol and just start slamming shit.
Yeah.
Go to the archive. It's great. I like that moment.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good. 1 year sober.
Yeah, almost 2 now. But I feel like it's also a really just boring way of doing it. I would really be interested in an angle more going into somebody struggling in recovery. I liked the story with Punk and Jeff Hardy, where Punk was going after him and going into his issues with sobriety. I'm cool with that. They're interesting ways to have the struggle. When this happened, the first thing I thought was like, cool, it made it seem like a joke. It made it seem like, if you're going to do something this shocking and this dumb, go into it. Go deeper. Don't make it something where I'm immediately like, okay, yeah, it's going to be like a hero story and he didn't drink and stuff like that. Right on.
A little too surface level when they can get much deeper.
Make it worth it. Like, don't give questions. Do something more. Like when you have a situation like this, one thing that I have struggled with in my sobriety is people treat you very delicately when it comes to alcohol and subject matter of that type.
Yeah.
If you're going to do this and play in that world of, getting somebody who has this problem drinking again, go into it.
That's why we're so sensitive to you.
I know.
Because we love.
Yeah, I can see that. They're definitely doing a pretty surface level on here when they could definitely go much deeper and make it a much more compelling redemption story than just a real kind of surface level. The thing that I'm really getting out of it, though, is that Sheamus isn't the guy who framed him. That's really what is becoming obvious to me, is that the storyline's not over because it's never been about Sheamus. It's been about Jeff thinking it was Sheamus. But it's going to turn out it wasn't Sheamus. It was going to be somebody else.
Eric Rowan.
Was he let go or no?
Gone.
He's gone.
He's gone, but he could always come back. I don't know. You got Sami Zayn, who's got red hair, but I don't think that Sami Zayn's going to do that. I don't know.
Yeah. I would find Sami Zayn also to be like it would be too on the nose, and I think I would be a bit upset because it would seem very out of character for Sami Zayn as Sami Zayn.
I think so too, yeah, because he is so like accepting and everything. I mean, even in his heel stuff, he's very like woke, as it were, you know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dorkchap says the angle was old enough, doesn't matter. He thought it was funny that they reused it. Diary says they only showed Jeff behind the curtain and then showed Sheamus in the bathroom washing his mouth out. Dorkchap says it was me, Hardy. It was me all along. And, you know, yeah, Vince come out, obviously.
That'd be great.
So I don't know who they're going to have be the guy, but I don't think it's Sheamus, and I think that's what's going to happen is that the storyline's going to go on another little while. I think that, to me, is the most annoying bit, is because unless they start to make this complex, and unless they start going deeper into this and making this a more interesting story and not just a surface level, I was framed for drunk driving, which is already kind of a distasteful premise to start with, then I think it's gonna fucking really wear out its little welcome that it has.
Do you guys think that it's gonna tie in with the truth guy or the guy that's
the hacker guy? It's got to.
Yeah.
He's got to be the one to reveal it.
Like he has CCTV video of who actually the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. How didn't he before?
Well, it's not that he never did. He just hasn't shown up, and he's going to do it now. So that's what's happening. He's not on TV because he's investigating it. He's getting all the footage together, man. You can't just have it ready to go every time. Look how long it took him to find out who made Otis late to the date. It took him like a month, man, and that was a date that happened backstage. This was a fucking crime scene he's got to get footage from. It's a little more complicated.
You got to get through that police tape.
Yeah. And then with Otis and Mandy, that whole thing happened in one building, backstage, where they're allowed to be. And that took a month.
And this happened 20 feet away outside of that one building.
Yeah, but now it's a crime scene. The police are involved. It's not as easy anymore. It's complicated.
It's going to be the guy from CSI Miami.
I do think the CSI Miami guy.
David Caruso does have red hair.
Yeah.
It's going to be Tyson with a wig.
Thanks for following us, Jay Mastro.
What?
You got followed by Jay Mastro.
Jay Mastro, what up? Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
I do think if we can talk about it briefly, Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy at Backlash was a good match.
Yeah.
Just from a match standpoint, these guys put on the show. I was hoping they would. They put on a good match. And it was brutal, and it was easy to boo Sheamus. It was good.
It's because they're both good talents.
They're great. Sheamus took a mouthful of piss. That guy's dedicated.
Maybe he liked it.
Yeah, maybe he's the one who asked for it. And then he throws piss in my mouth. Stop saying that, Sheamus.
He's pitching it for years. No, Vince, you don't understand.
Yeah, he's for years he's been pitching it, and then Cesaro throws a piss in my face. I'm like, no, dude, you guys are a tag team now. Yeah, but like a big glass of piss right in my mouth. They're like, stop it, Sheamus, get out of here.
John Cena just whips it out and pisses in my mouth.
Yeah.
Sheamus?
And he's like, and then Shorty G has a big glass of piss. It's like as big as him. And he just throws it in my mouth. And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about?
I have to lay down for Hornswoggle. To just
Yeah.
It's like I just picture like a box of suggestions. Sheamus drinks piss. Seriously.
Yeah, Sheamus, stop. And then he's all like, look, I know I can't get in the ring with Michael Cole, but he could throw a bottle of piss straight into my mouth. Like, dude, this isn't about Cole. And he goes, but it could be. It could be, and it could be about his piss. Sheamus, get out of here.
Sheamus, what if I pissed on you? Sheamus, why are you rubbing yourself?
Yeah.
Why moaning?
He like walks in and sees like the little tarp thing around and goes like, oh my god, we're doing it. Oh my god, it's happening. I'm like, Sheamus, we know you've been talking about this for the better part of 8 years.
Eyes wide, you just hear the sound of something hitting the table above him.
Yeah. Let's see. Always good to see Jeff in the ring when sober. And Dorkchop says Shorty P. That's a pretty good one.
Yes.
Let's see. D. Irish says it wasn't piss, it was apple juice. Yeah, pissed apple juice. The guy drank a bunch of apple juice and held onto it for days. That was so much piss. And then he peed out all the apple
something,
juice.
But I would like it to be something much worse.
Oh yeah, it's not apple juice, but it's like
hot, like week-old Bud Light.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Like old beer or like juice out of like a cat food can. Or like, dude, we just don't know what else looks like it.
Shit, we could have used fucking apple juice. That's
yeah.
Jeff's got ideas.
Yeah. Write that down for next time.
Yeah. Oh god, it is piss.
Yeah. If they used real dog food,
it.
They definitely used real dog food for the Roman thing. They can use real piss here, dude. That's all I'm saying. Is some things you can't fake.
All right, so next.
Producer here, leave it alone, please.
Not what I sound like at all.
Kevlar thinks so.
I find
He's crying.
I'm Matt Brown, and I really wish you would move it along. I don't like talking about piss
special
one
guest
bit.
Matt Brown. Oh,
Matt Brown came back through. Oh, crazy.
How's he doing working from home?
Dorkchop says gimmick piss from the prop department. They probably got it at Gimmick Piss or Us. Let's see, Shinsuke and Cesaro versus New Day. That was a really good match. I'm glad actually Shinsuke got the win on that. I think that's interesting to see where it goes. New Day came out and took a knee and put up a fist. I thought that was
awesome.
very cool, showing some solidarity.
I wanted to say something about that.
Go ahead.
I really have appreciated that the New Day have been given a platform, been allowed to express, like, have been able to talk about this on their podcast. Their podcast last week was amazing. And been given the ability to express their views of this and then stand in solidarity.
Yeah.
I was worried, honestly, when I heard the podcast, like, I wonder how this is going to go, because any company, not just WWE, but I think particularly WWE, might want their staff to distance themselves from expressing their beliefs, their views of, an event that, I don't think is controversial to, their perspective. But I know that for wrestling as an industry, could be seen as that.
Yeah, and they're a complicated company too, because they're definitely run by Republicans who have invested in Trump's campaign and such. So it does kind of open them up to a little bit of fire too, to be able to say, we'll allow them to say this, but they also have that. So I thought it was pretty cool that they were given the ability and option to do that, just because it does kind of open them up a little bit.
And I think it's also, and this is one that I think it's also been good what they've done with Jason Riker, in that they've pulled away from him a bit.
I don't know, man. He wasn't on TV for weeks before that tweet. There was like 2 weeks, and then he tweeted, and then he just still hasn't been back.
You got to clarify for Kevlar.
As much as I have seen the amount of people say, "Oh, they've pulled Jackson Riker," because he put out this tweet talking.
No, I know the tweet.
Oh yeah, so he knows the tweet
about the flag and stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff, and there was controversy with that, and then now people are saying that he's been pulled from TV and stuff, and that may be true, but realistically, based off of what we've actually seen, they weren't on TV for several weeks before that. They lost their last title match, and we haven't seen them since that match. And then that tweet came out, and they haven't come back. It may or may not be related. And then I was even having a talk with somebody. We'll see if they pop up in the chat here. If they wanted, they could definitely lean into that storyline-wise and put them up against some dudes like New Day, who have been, outspoken in their way as well, where they could definitely have another kind of uplifting story by getting New Day a win over this thing if they wanted. But at the same time, it might be easy to say.
Don't do that.
Well, I'm
happy they don't either, because
me too. Yeah.
Then it puts a line in the sand on where they stand.
That's true. That's true, and I'm glad they haven't as well. But it's an easy thing they could have done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's see. New Day has excellent during. Real quick in the chat, Dorkchop. New Day has been excellent during all of this. Major hats off to them. D. Irish says, oh, come on, it's the oldest trick in the book. Look where the screen was. It was so close to the edge of the ring, so they could use apple juice instead of piss. Dork Shop says,
yeah, but
brother.
imagine if they could. Imagine if Jeff Hardy could have and said, no, I got a better idea. And that doctor is the best straight man ever. Just like, I'm going to let this happen.
Yeah, there's 2 cups there, and then, like, Jeff Hardy just puts his hand over the apple cup and just, like, looks at the doctor, and the doctor's like, shit.
No. Today's my one and only chance.
Also, you said oldest trick in the book. How many times have you done it? How many times did that come up?
Hopefully pissed on people in real life.
Yeah. I've done it 1,000 times. I'm telling you, it works like that every time.
I've pissed on people 3 times. I've done this 7.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like the other big thing that I took away from this, and this might just be me weirdly thinking of it, knowing Linda McMahon is running Donald Trump's re-election.
Yeah.
Like, she is really ingrained there. And Vince is a Republican. A lot of people in the company are Republicans. And to let to let the New Day, to let Sammy express and be able to be themselves.
Yeah.
I think that shows something, and that speaks something of the McMahon family.
I think it does too.
I think
because I think something else that it also speaks to is that this is very likely not a Republican versus Democrat thing. This being a human rights conversation, that they're allowing their politics to step away from that to say this is a larger conversation than something as simple as I like this guy because of his tax credits. You know what I mean? Like, they're saying this is more complex than that, and I'm glad they're allowing the conversation to continue as well. I mean, what I wouldn't give though to be a fly on the wall in the locker room right now and hear what some of those guys are teaching each other. You know what I mean? Because those conversations they're probably having with each other right now is incredible.
Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Randy Orton's completely turned around. He was quoted as saying that he was very much like even on something so simple as the Kaepernick thing. He completely turned around on that, and he goes, I know at the time I thought I was very upset and thought he was just shitting on the flag and sitting, putting his knee on all the people who would ever support it. He goes, but I realize now that it just wasn't the case, and there's a whole quote on there, and you can look up what Randy Orton said there too, but it just lets you know that there's conversations that are happening backstage that are just changing people's minds, and that's beautiful.
Yes.
And that's really cool. I wish I could hear some of those. That would be amazing to see people you look up to just going back and forth, and it's like, this is progress.
Which is,
I would love. I think it'd be an amazing thing to hear the moments where, because it's not that I think there was ever active animosity against people expressing themselves in the past.
Yeah.
I feel like there was more caution to be like, hey, don't express yourselves. I would love to see that process of, when somebody says, hey, I want to talk about this. I would love to see when the New Day says, hey, we're going to talk about this on our show, and have it go through and have it be seen as do that.
Yeah.
I think that's an amazing, powerful thing, and that's something that's so unique and awesome to say, yeah, absolutely. I want you guys to be who you are.
Yeah.
And that means something to me.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty great, and they got the names on their armbands, and they even posted on their own Instagram and Twitter and stuff, them holding them up so you could read the full names on them, and it's really cool that they've allowed there to be a separation so that there can be a continuation of the conversation. You know what I mean? That they've said, we're not going to let our politics get in the way of potential progress and a potential conversation here. Not to say they're not going to vote the way they're going to vote, but that there's a conversation that still could be had that both sides can actually agree on.
Mm-hmm.
And really cool that it's coming from conversations and not just social media back and forth, which is what we often see on Twitter, is just this war of words without conversation, which is why a lot of us kind of tend to shy away from Twitter, because it can be a bit much and people don't usually take arguments to serious thought.
Twitter feels like a gunfight, man. It doesn't feel like two sides trying to come together for something. It's just like, pa, 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 yeah, and everyone's all like, what the fuck? Like, that's what Twitter comes off as. No one's sitting there going like,
follow us.
well, I think this. And the other person goes, good point. You never hear that.
That was my point, just to highlight that you said conversation. It's cool that is what's happening.
Yeah.
Which is why we...
The thing is that they're communicating about it, and that's, I think, the biggest problem from the beginning is that the lack of communication.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, listen to both sides and, go from there. And it seems like, people are slowly merging together and being like, all right, this is our common goal. Yeah. That's what we need.
And by not listening to either side, you don't realize how much you have in common. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's really the core of it, is you can say that there's two sides to this, and you can immediately shut that down and say there's not two sides. There's human rights and racism. And you say, well, yeah, but there's two sides. There's people who are fighting because they don't feel the same as you. Why don't you find out why you don't feel the same and find out how much you do agree on? Because I think that's what we're finding is a lot of these people who adamantly feel on either side of this actually do say, well, yeah, that part's definitely true. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of common ground there, but they're just passionately defensive of something. And you got to get to the core of what's that thing that they're passionately defending to break through, to be able to say, okay, how do we find our compromise where we can both accomplish the things that we both agreed on too? Because no one has agreed that racism is the good thing. You know what I mean? Or that human rights should not be. Both sides agree to that, but they're both defending something. And without that communication of finding out what are you fighting for and what do I feel is at risk, then you can't have that forward momentum by the force of the voice. You have to have that many people going forward for there to be progress. And until you find the common ground, when you've shut them both out and you refuse to listen, then you can't find that common ground, and then everything just comes at a standstill, which has been the biggest problem.
Yeah, exactly.
And for anyone
there's so many people that are far left or far right and are extreme on either side, and it's like, let's meet in the middle.
Yeah. And I feel like for anyone that hasn't listened to the New Days podcast from last week, like that might be listening here, it is something to listen to, and it's amazing. And I think the explanation they give for their view and trying to, I think it's everything they went through is fantastic, but the things that really stuck out to me, one were the idea that this is not new.
Yeah.
And that people are suddenly saying, hey, I want to be involved. It's like, this isn't new. You don't need to be explained to. Like, this is a long history. But also the idea of, this is more than an issue. This is equating it to a neighborhood with a house on fire.
Yeah.
And I think it's really awesome.
Yeah. There's been some great conversations out there. The New Day Pod is definitely one of them to check out for sure. But everyone's gotta, you gotta do something. You gotta be aware of who you're voting for. You gotta be aware of what your cause is. You gotta do something. Let's see. Dork Chop says, kind of gross now seeing Taker being interviewed with his Thin Blue Line t-shirt on Last Ride documentary now with everything going on. Bernanigans agrees. Dork Chop says, feels like bad timing. The Irish has got to go. See you guys later. We'll see you, The Irish. Cheers. Thanks for coming through. We'll see you down the road. I think as far as the blue line thing, I think I don't find as much offense to it as I can understand people finding offense to it. Because I don't think that there's definitely a place to support the police in general. You know what I mean? I understand the argument, and I guess it's not a conversation to have here, I think, because it's just so long to get into and a little off topic, but I don't think that by supporting police lives that you're necessarily not supporting the lives of others as well. I think there's room for both. I think you can really feel like neither side has to lose a life here.
And I feel like I agree with, I'm Bernanigans obviously on this, but it's gross to me because of the timing of it. I don't think Mark said, "Oh, cool, we're doing this today," and put that shirt on.
This was filmed a long time ago.
Oh yeah,
it's just an airing issue.
It's a coincidence.
Yeah,
the worst timing for it to happen.
It's a bit of a bummer, but I don't think that it's the worst thing of all time.
Yeah,
And I do agree that you look at it and you kind of go, wait a second, because there is seeming to be butting of the heads on that topic, but I don't think that was the intent. I don't think that's the feel. I don't think that's his stance. I don't think that he's saying, fuck the whole movement. I'm wearing my cop t-shirt. I don't think that's what's going on at all. I think that what's happening here is this filmed this a long time ago. I think he's a good old Southern boy who appreciates anyone with a badge because it's pretty cool to have a badge. And I don't think anyone needs to lose a life over this. I don't think they have to anymore. And I think that's where I stand on it. Please stop killing each other for no reason, both sides. Like those fucking assholes, I'll just say it real quick, those assholes at Shake Shack who poisoned those cops with bleach. Fuck those guys, man. That's not helping anybody. That's not doing anything for anyone. I'm glad the cops are okay. They were sick for a bit. They're okay. But fucking putting bleach in someone's milkshake? Come on, man. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Well, my family, my parents are both worked in law enforcement. And to me, like, growing up, cops are people. And I don't mean that in the sense of, like, that heightens them. No. They're people.
Yeah.
We're people. I'm a dumbass, but I'm a person.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people, like, good, bad, up, down, yeah. They're people with a lot more responsibility.
George Chop says
And I think what we're... Oh.
Yeah, if it wasn't intentional, I don't believe it. Fuck them. No, I'm playing.
All right, well, good to know.
Yeah.
Really fucked up cleaning machine. But, like,
good. That's good, because it'd be bullshit if it was, man. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying is it's bullshit to do that stuff right now. Either side, you're not helping anybody. If it was an accident, it seems really weird to me. I've worked in kitchens before, and the bleach is always somewhere completely different than the milkshakes.
Yeah.
So I feel
like
I've
watched Kitchen Nightmares, and I've seen a lot of episodes where it isn't.
Yeah, well, that's true too.
But like to your point, like to that and the excitement we get when we see that, because what's happening a lot is we're looking, whatever our perspective is, we're looking for these outlandish moments in it to be because it's exciting to be upset, essentially.
Hell yeah, it is pointless aggression.
Yes, exactly. So
it's
we see something
strange.
like that, and that's why people get super upset about like.
Dorchop probably read that on Fox News. That ass. No, I'm playing. I'm just playing.
But like, really, at the end of it, this is a conversation about nobody needs to lose a life. We need to have this conversation. It's okay to be, to not hate. Like, it's okay to be supportive of individuals who do this.
Yeah.
But like that also means like you can talk about like my parents are cops. I love my parents.
Yeah, I got a lot of family in law enforcement.
Yeah.
Just to wrap the topic up, I got a lot of family in law enforcement. I don't want to see them needlessly killed, just the same as I don't want to see your friends and family needlessly killed. I think that needs to be addressed. If anyone is murdered and there aren't consequences, that is a problem. I don't care what the person's dressed like when it happens.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, you don't need to poison someone through a milkshake. There's better ways to do it.
And that didn't happen.
Didn't happen, I guess. But I haven't read that news article, and I don't know what Dorchop's peddling over here. I'm just kidding. He's been pretty accurate so far.
I really want Shake Shack.
Dorchop's been 100% more accurate than Klump has this entire show. I think that's worth noting.
He's been more accurate than any of us. Maybe Kevin or producer, because Kevin doesn't throw out hard-hitting things.
Yeah, we got to get Dorchop on the show proper and just take over for all of us. We'll end up in the champ. Let's see, but it was a good match. Shinsuke and Cesaro against New Day. I am excited to see where they go with that. I think obviously Cesaro and Shinsuke are two of the greatest of all time. To see them going back and forth with the New Day, who are three of the greatest of all time, it'll be really exciting. AJ Styles in the Intercontinental Championship with Daniel Bryan. How the hell was that?
That was nice.
That was fucking good, man.
Watching the match, there was arguments on either one winning, and I'd be happy.
Yeah, it was a win-win situation. There wasn't going to be a winner there that you weren't ecstatic about, but you definitely felt yourself at the edge of your seat for every pinfall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I felt like I was screaming no every time. You know what I mean? No!
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Nash lost his shit for it.
Did he? Was he going nuts?
It was great.
During the match as well, or just on the end?
Both.
Really? Oh, that'd have been so cool to see.
I wish I recorded it.
That'd been good, man. Dorkchop says AJ and Daniel always show out. Also, belt looks better now that AJ has it. Don't know why. That's mean, man. What's wrong with Sammy? Kuro Neto Carito says, "Woo wrestling, woo!" That's what we're talking about, dude. Woo wrestling, and cheers to that.
Yeah.
We don't just like wrestling; we also get drunk. So there's that.
2 of us also get drunk.
Yeah, but we drink for you, Clump, because we support you in your sobriety.
Mm-hmm. God damn, that's a frightening idea.
I think I have to switch over.
Switch over? All right. Well, you're switching over. Just to hit on the topic real quick, AJ and Daniel always show out. I think one of the matches that gets underrated. You could have muted yourself, dude.
Yeah.
One of the matches that doesn't get enough play, I don't think. Yeah, you're...
hey, cover my part. It's good.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything.
Okay. Yeah, well...
So are we.
Yeah. So... The Royal Rumble 2019, Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles for the Planet's Championship title. A lot of people talk about it being a bad match and being poor placement, but I think when you really watch it and pay attention, no one works the crowd better because they not only work the crowd into a frenzy and things like this, but they can also understand their placement enough to go, the crowd just lost their shit and they're on the verge of a heart attack because Becky had just won right before they came out. So they came out and they said, well, we got to bring everyone's heart rate down first. And we also know that half of the crowd got up and walked out to the bathroom because, holy shit, they just watched Becky win.
I was one of those people. I walked up and we were second row.
Yeah, the whole row in front of me left. So all of a sudden, I'm front row. I was like, this is great.
Yeah, you could see him in the
show. That whole match you can watch me. And you can watch me like huddled over, breathing heavy, like, oh my God, I'm going to die.
I can't watch the damn match because all I do is giggle at your dumb ass.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But he's able to bring him down. And then as the seats start filling up again, they start picking up the pace again. You watch them interacting with the audience there, and I thought it was just masterful then. And then here's a whole thing where they're trying to show that they're going to be the workhorse and the best, and they do it masterfully here too. I don't think that it's necessarily being in the most exciting match that makes you the best workers for the crowd always, right? These guys also understand every part of the card. They understand what needs to happen for the audience to be ready for the next thing too, and I think it's amazing. Dorkchop says at least he's not washing dishes or whatever he was a couple weeks ago. That's you, Kevlar. Dorkchop's glad you didn't just run off to go wash dishes or something. Build a birdhouse.
Nope.
Yeah. He's like, cheers to that.
Tick, 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 tick.
But this match was incredible. I thought it was absolutely great.
Well, I think when you say that thing about workers, like, it's not your placement on the card that makes you a good worker. It's that you make the card the card.
Yeah.
Like, a card is only as good as every match on it, you know?
Yeah, and there's a reason things are certain places. Let's see. Out there we had a Bayley-bration with Sasha and Bayley. Man, I just think they've been on point together and everything. I think they've been hysterical and they've been really good. That was leading into their triple threat for Backlash. But I thought it was great. I think they're really on point. I think they're really coming to a really good spot.
Sorry, 5 minutes ago, Bayley retweeted. She's like, Bayley Dostrap's birth week.
Oh, and the cake on the back of her head on Raw. That was so funny. I like that they started letting her say Bayley Dostraps on TV. Dude, I was not into Heavy Machinery and Braun Strowman against Ziggler and Miz and Morrison.
Not at all.
I couldn't have cared less about that.
I'm really tired of Miz and Morrison.
They gotta go, right? Like, I felt like we were on the verge of them splitting up, and I feel that them being together is the worst possible thing for Morrison.
Yeah. It's the worst for Miz and Morrison.
Yeah.
Because I like Miz overall. I like him as an asshole. I like him as a heel. And Morrison is a really talented performer. And it just, like, both of them here, they're being drugged down because what's happening is we're trying to make these matches more physical so Morrison can show up, and then Miz has to carry Morrison's shit promo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that Miz comes off as a total fucking goof, and I'm not into it. He just spent all that time on the indies proving he's a serious worker and needs to be taken serious, and he can do this at such a big scale, and then he comes in here and goes, oh yeah, I can fart and smell it. I'm like, well, that's my gimmick, man. Leave it.
Yeah, don't take...
That is your gimmick.
No, your gimmick's farting and making us smell it.
As long as like it takes a second for you to get hit, that's the moment I want. The moment between the fart and the hit. Like, that's the golden era for me. I sit in it and wait. Let's see.
God damn it.
That's why we don't have more followers.
Yeah. Dorkchop says gimmick infringement alert. That's what I'm saying. Let's see. Dorkchop, very similar to Kevlar on this one. He says he's done a total 180 on Bayley. He wasn't a big fan of hers as a face, but now she cracks him up. Although you came around while she was a face.
Yeah, I mean, I saw her, I don't want to say work ethic, but I saw the quality of her performance. And I think a lot of it was the Ronda match right after Rumble.
Yeah.
Where I was like, holy shit, Bayley's carrying this, calling everything, and I was like, all right, I can see it.
Yeah, you get a clump.
What's up?
Yeah.
Stop.
Okay,
You're getting a bag of chips open or some shit.
Beef jerky, dude.
Yeah,
have her open the jerky before she gets in there, man.
It's called mute button.
Or mute yourself.
Oh my god.
It's for what? Oh, it's for dogs?
It's for dogs, dude.
Oh my god.
No wonder she didn't want you into it. You were just bitching that the cat was eating dog food and was going to puke. What do you think's going to happen when you eat a whole bunch of beef sticks made for dogs?
They're duck sticks.
She handed him bacon strips.
Yeah. I'm hungry.
They're
Here you go.
Damn it, I have to give this to the dogs. Fuck.
So that brings us to Backlash.
Wait, are you eating dog food right now?
Yes, he is. He's eating dog food.
Duck jerky, dude.
Well, I guess it's not dog food. It's a dog treat. There is a difference.
Yeah.
And don't call it dog jerky because it sounds like the jerky's made of dog.
That's a good point. It's duck jerky for dogs.
Yeah.
Let's be very clear on that. We have a very hard stance on this show against dog jerky.
It's got like a fucking barbecue flavor to it. Like, it's legitimately kind of sweet, like Sweet Baby Ray's.
Dogs love barbecue. Everyone knows that. Get your head out of your ass.
This is why you don't have your cooking set.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, this is the problem. Every time you start cooking, you go, I could eat dog food, though.
Comes in a can, it's delicious.
I'm not gonna... What? I could give it to my dogs.
Yeah, you could. They would enjoy that. They would love that. They would feel like this is proper food for me, yes. This is a delightful treat for me, specifically. Almost by design.
Give me a second.
No, don't. No, wait. You're gonna go off screen and start popping bubble wrap or some shit.
Yeah. Alright, so we all didn't like that segment.
What, clump segment? Yeah, we can't stand it. Let's see, that brings us to Backlash. On the kickoff, there was Apollo Crews versus Andrade for the U.S. title. It was a pretty good match, but not much else to say about that other than those are two great talent who work together well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad Apollo won because I think that he does need to hold on to it for a bit. And, he's got the new music. He's got the whole thing going. I'm excited to see what they do with him.
Already on the pay-per-view? Okay.
Good. I'm glad you guys chimed in.
Sure.
Yeah, you make sure. And then they're just sitting there chewing on duck jerky.
Yeah, because we normally say...
I'm done with the damn duck jerky.
About the last show we were talking about. And instead, we're just like, all right, move on.
Yeah, that was it. Fuck SmackDown.
Okay.
We're on a Backlash.
Yeah, I am happy Apollo has the belt. I like that they're putting him in storylines, and I like his promo.
His promo on Backlash? Such a dick.
Well, and then, like, him on Raw, which we'll get into. But no, I'm okay with this. Like, okay, yeah.
He's been great. I've been really excited for what they're doing with him.
Yeah. I like his beard.
Dorkchop says carne guisada kind of looks like dog food, but it's delicious. Clump doesn't know the difference as long as it's delicious. And Clump would never say "but" in that sentence.
Yeah.
Rumors there's going to be a new U.S. title design. Hype for that. I've heard that rumor as well. I don't know.
For years.
I hope they're better than the shirt designs. A lot of the shirt designs are kind of...
Yeah, that's a different team.
I want to make sure. I don't know.
Yeah, the shirts have been shitty lately. But if there is a new U.S. title, I'm kind of excited for it, but also kind of really like it. And I don't feel it... I feel like that was one of the last ones to get a makeover before all this big wave of makeovers.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like it really hasn't been that look for that long. Am I wrong?
Yeah, that's true.
The U.S. title?
Yeah. Has it been that way for a really long time?
Yeah, dude.
All right. Well, I liked it.
It's
so fuck me.
they changed it for Cena to the spinner.
Yeah, which
and
was
went back
gross.
to the one from before it.
All right. The spinner was
There's
disgusting.
several changes to it.
Oh, duck burps.
Yeah. Let's see. And I do think that Apollo would be a cool guy to bring that in because I think he can really legitimize it with a significant title reign there.
Yeah.
Gross.
What's up?
That
What'd I say?
had to have been a toy.
What'd I say?
You would think.
For the love
you would
of
think
God.
It was not
What?
a toy.
What toy? That was my chair squeaky. It's leather.
That's a lie. That was your butt dust.
It smells like leather.
Your chair's squeaky when you move on
Yeah,
one
you're gonna
cheek.
sit in it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go to the other room.
When I sit sideways, it squeaks. It's not on me.
I'm not sitting in that chair. You
Let's
mean
see,
hole burn in it.
What'd you guys think of the triple threat? Bailey, Sasha, Iconics, and Nikki, Alexa.
Nikki
I
Alexa.
like that they finally had the triple threat, like,
With 3.
3, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to spit out.
We've been saying that for how long now?
Mm-hmm.
Every tag team triple threat, we get so upset because we're like, there's only 2 in the ring and it's bullshit. There should be 3.
And then you have those awkward tags where people tag themselves in.
Yeah.
Or
And-
tag like other teammates in.
Yeah, like, oh shit, I can't do it, so I'm tagging somebody, a different team in, and then your team's on the sideline looking like jackasses.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No,
I'm
going to
be unpopular here.
What's up?
I wanted the Iconics to win it.
Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. I'm cutting your feed. I'm cutting them off.
I'm gonna go get more fucking duck jerky.
Yeah. Why'd you want the Iconics to win? What's up? What?
Kevin?
I said Dork Chop's hired.
Door Chop's hired? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're replacing you with Door Chop right now.
I like the Iconics. I like them more and more. I liked the match. I like what they did. I like them as shitty heels, and I've always found them funny.
But
So,
they're
yeah,
not just
I
shitty
prefer-
heels, they're also shitty wrestlers.
You
I
like
think
wrestling
they
cards?
needed it more. I think they could. I think their last reign sucked because they didn't defend it, but I would have liked to see them on TV more because the other reigns we've had, people haven't been on TV. I'm okay with this.
Billie Kay is one of the least skilled women's wrestlers on the entire division. It looks really bad when they go out there and win against people who we know are better wrestlers. Almost every
Yeah, but if
wrestler
you win
out
in a
there.
shitty way, I'm cool with it.
I guess you're saying she got to cheat hard. Kevlar, what were you about to say?
I was asking Clump if he likes wrestling cards.
Oh yeah, that's true. We got make a few bucks off Clump right now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dorkchop says he really likes the Iconics until they're in between the ropes. I mean, they go all the way through.
No, he means
I don't
in
know
the
if
ring.
I'd fit through the ropes.
What? Well, because he's talking about their entrance where they just lay on the ropes. They're in between them.
No. I thought he meant, like, when they're in the ring. He likes everything except for the wrestling.
Between the bells.
I hate you guys.
We're not acknowledging your bullshit joke.
You're not getting that one.
Yeah. Fuck you. It's not funny.
I don't know. I guess the last couple promos I liked more than most, but for the most part, I've never been that excited or thought they were that good on the mic. I think Peyton Royce has always been much better wrestling than Billie Kay, and moves like
By
a
far.
wrestler.
I think Billy Kay's way better on the mic.
What?
Huh?
Well, I don't know.
I gotta step away for a second. I'll be right back.
He can't even handle
Bring
this
that
club.
turkey.
You've made him so upset he left.
It's okay, we got a host.
That's true. All right, we got a cat standing. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I know a lot of people like him. I just don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm way off. I just think that maybe Billy Kay is so clunky in the ring that it just takes away everything else that I just saw. I don't think they're funny when they're doing their jokes, but at the end of the day, I guess they're heels, and I'm not supposed to think they're funny. But even the clips that people send and say this is hysterical, I never find funny.
I think it's all, we all have different tastes in it. I will say, I think they could have done a bit more in NXT, but then again, I think even then the focus was less on them working. It was more like, oh, they're funny, keep them in the ring because they're funny.
And if you remember, in NXT, Peyton Royce, by the end of the run, was strictly a single star, and Billy Kay was her valet. They weren't even tagging anymore by the end of the NXT run.
And that might not be bad.
I think
having Billy Kay as a valet. Yeah.
I think it'd be good because I do think there's a chemistry between them. There's definitely a partnership, and they've definitely been in it a long time. I don't know that I buy them as a tag team because of how clunky their work is. You know what I mean? So it's like I have a hard time when you say, oh, we've been tagging for 16 years. And you go, oh, well, Sasha and Bayley haven't, but they're much smoother in the ring than you. Or even Alexa and Nikki haven't, but they work tandem much better than you guys. Like, they don't perform on the same level as the other tag teams. Just because you've been together that long doesn't mean you're as skilled, I don't think. But I do think that Peyton Royce is good enough in the ring, and we definitely saw her going one-on, like her spat with Sasha Banks in there, that she can go given the right opportunity, but she always has to tag Billy Kay in, and I think it slows down everything. Maybe that's why they work as heels. It's just better that way. I don't know. Maybe Billy Kay can really do a bunch of stuff, but she does it on purpose. I don't know. But I do think that Peyton works better as a singles when they were in NXT. And I think it could translate here.
I think the other thing, too, is their last run did suck because they weren't defending it. And they weren't building other teams.
Yes.
If you gave them the titles and had them being shitty heels, but built other teams and built this like competition of people, like tournaments and wrestling to get to them, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I think them as shitty heels is okay. It builds comedy, Eddie Guerrero, and I'm not comparing them to Eddie Guerrero because Eddie Guerrero was an amazing worker in the ring. He did amazing there. But Los Guerreros, part of what they did was shitty heel things to win.
Yeah.
And you can do that. Right?
Yeah, 100%. They should come off way shittier and cheat more. And that's really what it was when they were in NXT, is Peyton was a single star and Billy would cheat for her.
Yeah.
Let's see, Dorkchop says they finally built up the women's tag titles again. I just don't want them to fuck it up, and I agree with that entirely. I don't think the Iconics bring a lot of prestige to those titles, where I do think, like I was fantasy booking last week, you keep those tag titles on Sasha and Bayley all the way through SummerSlam, and maybe by SummerSlam we start having audience members in there, and then you can maybe look at potentially doing a split at SummerSlam. But I think you keep it with them for a while and build up their reputation as the tag team champions, and then you have Sasha be the one pinned and lose the match, and maybe she even loses it for some dumb shit. She loses it because she wasn't fucking doing what she was supposed to. Maybe like she tags herself in, and then she loses the titles, and then immediately after, maybe Bayley has a singles match later that night where she's got to defend her SmackDown. Sasha comes out, costs Bayley the match. I don't know who she go up against, but she goes against someone, loses it, and then you have Sasha take the title off the person that just beat Bayley at the next, I don't know, maybe even SmackDown, and then you have Bayley going, you just literally stripped me of everything. What the fuck am I supposed to do with this? And you have the breakup kind of happen that way, and you move forward with them.
They even said that with the commentary.
What do you mean?
They said that Sasha's held all the belts except for the SmackDown championship. And then they said, well, maybe... I think they said maybe whoever beats Bailey, Sasha can get it from.
Yeah. Yeah, I do remember that. They said something like, well, once maybe Bailey's lost it, Sasha will have a go at it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's how you do it. And I think that you actually flip Bailey back into a face because she's the one who got screwed over by Sasha. And Sasha's just like, whatever, bitch. It's my belt now. What up?
This is what I do.
Yeah, this is what I do. I have it. You don't. Get over it. I supported you. Yeah, but I didn't make you lose it. Well, whatever. You know?
Tomato, tomato.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you can play it out that way, and I think you'd have a huge pop. But I also think you want to do that with a crowd. And that's why I think that you allow them to hold on to those tag titles for longer and really give them the run that they deserved the first time that they didn't quite get. Although I still think that Sasha and Bailey were the best tag team title holders to begin with because they're the only ones that went to every brand. They're the only ones that defended it on NXT. No one has since.
The Iconics made a promo on NXT.
Yeah, and then they disappeared for 3 months.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do think that... I feel like they're the ones who did it the best because they actually went to every single place. And maybe that has nothing to do with the other people who held it. Maybe the people who held it never had anything to do with about where they went. But I don't remember the Kabuki Warriors going on both shows. I don't remember Iconic showing up on any shows. And I don't think Nikki and Alexa did anything more than SmackDown and Raw. Maybe. I think they stayed on SmackDown most of it.
I think they made an appearance on NXT, but maybe one, if that.
I don't think Alexa and Nikki showed up. I do think the Iconics showed up to NXT, but didn't do anything. So I agree with that. I want to see them keep doing it. We already talked about Sheamus and Jeff Hardy. Great match. I think it's leading towards some other redhead. Asuka and Nia Jax. I think I just went and pooped on this one.
I hated this match.
Huh?
I fucking hated this match.
That makes sense. You got Nia in it. She's not good at this job.
More than that, it was having it be a double countout. You weaken Asuka.
You don't weaken Asuka because she had her in an armbar, right?
Yeah, but I say the reason I say you weaken Asuka is Asuka needed a definitive win. I think this would have been a great definitive win.
But she also needed to look dominant. I think she does that if she's breaking her arm on the outside and you can't do shit about it. And you know what? I'm going to keep breaking her arm.
Yeah, but then now it's going to be an extended feud again.
Yeah, fuck that.
Which we saw it on Raw. And that's what I hate. Is like, we don't need to keep doing this. I think we're even, I'm not going to throw a lot to the dirt sheets, but in this case, yeah, we're hearing performers are having issues with Nia. We don't need to keep extending this.
Yeah, Nia has no business being in there. If a barista performed on the level that Nia Jax performed at their job, they'd be fired.
But I think they keep billing Nia as the indestructible force, and she's the biggest woman.
She's definitely an immovable object.
Yeah, but look at what they did with her against Sheamus.
I'm pissed.
So
that was an absolute sham.
Yeah.
I want to just say, like, any of us saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, us skinny fucks making it.
Yeah.
Well, no, because they mentioned that she's the biggest woman.
Mm-hmm.
No, not you, Kevin. What Marsh said.
Dorkchop says, "Why protect Nia? She sucks." Yeah, I mean, I know it's because it's like Kevlar says, they keep pushing her as this incredible force, and you're like, nah.
Dominant force.
Yeah. Although some people say that they think that her injuring people is a work to get people more upset. I don't know.
She's really good at it. She's the best worker at it.
Yeah, then she's working like crazy. But I mean, Kyrie had that big fucking gash on her head. I don't think that was a fucking work. She had stitches.
Yeah.
So you want me to fuck him up? Got it. No, I know. Got it.
Yeah.
I don't think her punching Becky in the face was a work.
Oh, no. No.
And she takes pride in that. And that's why I don't fucking like her. Every time she talks about that, it's like you're taking this incredible pride for a traumatizing event for someone else. Yes, they turned it into something.
I'm glad they don't call her Face Breaker anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was
fucking awful, dude.
Because on Total Divas, when Natty asked her about it,
She says something like, Nia, I know you, and you didn't do it on purpose. You weren't trying to hit her. And she's quiet for a second and kind of looks down and goes, yeah, of course not. And you're all like, oh, that's when people lie, they say that.
Yeah.
And like,
anyone who sees that clip, when we watched it, we were like,
yeah, I played it back and I was like, that bitch!
You could tell she lied.
And I wasn't expecting it. You know what I mean? I was like, I thought that was going to be the moment where she's like, Natty, you know me? I would never, oh my God. But she was kind of like, yeah. No. Of course, what? No.
She got her fingers crossed in the background.
Yeah.
Drop a bitch. No, I mean,
She's like in dirty work. We're like, I can tell you're lying because your voice goes up. Like, what? No!
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I think it would be cool if they pushed Piper and Evan more.
Yes, I love Piper.
Yeah, part of what they're doing with Nia, and I get it. Nia...
Piper?
It can't... NXT UK. Yeah. She's a performer.
Oh, the UK
she's
one.
Good.
Yeah, Piper Niven.
She's very good, yes. But I think, and I admire the goal there, showing like, yeah, not all performers have to look like a type. Not everyone has to look like Sable. Not everyone has to look like Tori Wilson or Stacy Keibler or Mandy Rose. We can have different performers who, and I'm not saying Mandy Rose isn't qualified, but you get what I mean. Like we can do more here.
Yeah.
But Nia really, we see a lot of issues there. Beyond her, injuring performers, I struggle with her because she looks slow as shit.
Yeah.
She looks terrible. She's like stumbling around. Like it's like you look hurt. Why are you performing?
Yeah, and you look like you can't tumble. I
was surprised at how gassed she looked.
Yeah. Rapidly.
Yeah. I would say overall, too, Backlash really felt like a SmackDown or a Raw that happened to have a great match at the end. With that in mind, you got Braun Strowman versus Miz and Morrison, which was exactly what you'd expect it to be. Nothing great. I also thought they got too much over on Braun, to be honest. But whatever. I didn't really care for him as champion anyways. Drew McIntyre...
Well, I hate how they changed the rules.
What'd they do?
They said that whoever pins is going to be the champion.
Oh.
No more co-champions.
Oh, yeah.
To start splitting them up.
In that case, just make it a triple threat, and it's 2-on-1 anyway.
Yeah. That's true, and there's no point. Let's see. Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. Better match than I expected, to be honest. Just because of how Drew usually performs. I'm usually not too into it or care all that much. But I thought that Bob Lashley did a really good job of...
Bob?
Yeah, Bob. Robert?
Bob Lashley.
Bob.
Mio Bobby.
We're on a first name basis.
Yeah.
Bob.
Mio Bobby. Bobby from...
Bobby?
Bobby. Mio Bobby.
You were cheering for him so much.
Yeah, I was like, come on, fuck him up!
You thought this was his
I've
moment.
always liked Lashley, and I want him to take it.
Oh, yeah. I want him to take it off Drew so bad.
And I like him and MVP together.
Oh, they're so great together.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Especially with MVP. He's really turned me around. Because at first I wasn't sure. I didn't like what they were doing with MVP. And then they hooked him up with him. And I was like, wow, they're great together.
Yeah.
Damn, we really just needed someone with you.
You can really talk.
You just needed an actual good talker.
But we said that
you talk as well as you grow hair.
What?
He talks as well as he grows hair.
I was going to say, we said it months ago that Bobby Lashley needed a Paul Heyman.
Yeah, he needed someone great. The problem with Leo Rush is he put himself over. The problem with Lana is it was always about Lana. Bobby Lashley really needed someone who can put him over. And talk for him. And Leo never talked for Bobby. Leo was like, I'm the man of the hour. I'm the 23-year-old pot of gold. I'm Leo Rush. My man. You know what I mean? Like, his whole fucking thing was about him. It was never about Bobby. 23-year-old pot of gold.
Yeah.
Man of the hour. My balls is sour.
Okay.
Yeah, but you loved the shit out of it.
Yes, he was funny, but I liked Leo Rush. I didn't care about Bobby Lashley. And Lashley needs someone to make you care about Bobby Lashley, and MVP does that. Because MVP
He likes making fun of it.
Oh, yeah, I love making fun of it. Mommy!
But, like, yeah, I truly wanted Bobby to win, although the entire time I was like, when the fuck's Lana coming out?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, that was...
Yep.
Like,
how's Lana going to ruin this match?
This would be great minus this.
Dorkchop said it best. Drew versus Bobby was pretty good, even though I didn't care for the build of the match. Yeah, I didn't care about the build almost at all, except for I thought that MVP did a great job of making you think that Bobby Lashley was really fucking good. Because even the way he talks about it is all like, this isn't about me. He goes, you need to worry about Bobby Lashley. Like, his whole thing is always, like, changing the focus to Bobby, where everyone else's focus was like, he has me in his corner, and I'm the one here, and I'm the difference maker. And MVP's all like, no, you just need no more dead weight.
Yeah.
With that in mind, there's two other things that happen on here. Street Profits versus Viking Raiders in that little movie skit with the ninjas. Did you guys care for that at all?
Okay.
No.
So.
Kevlar's
now
like, nope.
yelled at. I honestly was like laughing a lot at the Street Profits Viking Raiders shit.
Okay.
I liked it. The one part I didn't like was that Ivar kept referencing other things and like, okay, we don't need to like keep referring back. This shit's getting old. Mm-hmm. But I was okay with it. I thought Akira Tozawa, I was like, I'm okay with Akira Tozawa doing this because he's like way going at it. Like, I really like Akira Tozawa whenever he does something because he weighs nothing, so he's easy to sell, but he sells so good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's not hard to throw someone who's 5'5" and 100 pounds soaking wet, but...
Yeah, he gets murdered every week. Here was my thought on it. I didn't like it at all. But I didn't like anything like the Stadium Stampede. And I didn't like a lot of the Matt Hardy stuff in AEW. I feel like that if you liked this match or this segment, you probably like a lot of the stuff on AEW. And I think it's okay. Because I feel like it felt like something that you would have seen on AEW. And I felt, to me, the weirdest part were people who I saw who talked about Stadium Stampede being the greatest thing they'd ever seen in wrestling, and it gave them life, saying that the Viking Raiders and Street Profits stuff was so stupid, childish, and campy. I'm like, I don't understand how you can see both of those different. Because I see them the same. I saw this and I thought, oh, you'd love this if you like Stadium Stampede.
Yeah.
But it also is like, fine. It's like, oh, that's that section of audience that says that WWE doesn't cater to them. Well, here they are catering to you a little bit. They gave you a segment. It's just exactly like all the things you like over there. You know what I mean? So how did they not like it? Is the part that confused me.
And that is frustrating and true. It's the thing with fans of one attacking the other that I don't like is both do silly shit. There's a place for silly shit in wrestling. Like, my favorite moments in wrestling are tied between the ones that I'm like, wow, and where I'm just laughing my ass off. I truly love things that make me giggle. This was just a bit too dumb, but hey, I'm going to appreciate how dumb it is, too. Mm-hmm. You know?
Dorchop says he does love corny and campy shit, not going to lie. I was very sports entertained. Well, that's what I mean. I can understand the section of people who enjoy that. I didn't like it at all. But I didn't like anything I've seen like that thus far. I don't think that it's even fair that people tried to compare this to the Money in the Bank or Fiend, the Firefly Funhouse, or the Graveyard Match. They're trying to say this is another cinematic piece. Not really. I guess it's close to a couple skits that were in Money in the Bank. But all the stuff I've seen that gets close to what this was, I haven't enjoyed. But I understand that I go online and say, well, I didn't like this at all. But I see the amount of people who absolutely love it. So I was super confused by the people who hated this shit but love 100% of everything that AEW does. Because a lot of what AEW puts out feels the same as this. And I felt like, oh, cool. They're kind of influencing each other now, you know? I thought that was a cool thing. I thought, how cool is this segment? It's giving the AEW type fans a little something to have over here that they'll like. And then they responded the other way, and I was like, oh, it's again that whole, like, you don't like it because it's not your thing. You don't like it because WWE did it. That's all.
Yeah, there's that weird double standard.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, if AEW did it, they'd love it. But since WWE did it, I'm anti-WWE and I hate it.
Yeah, fuck it. It's awful. That's the part I don't get. Because when I saw it, I thought, I don't like this, but I know who will. You know what I mean? Like, this is definitely something up their alley, and they didn't like it. And I was like, why are you guys being a dick?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I like DDT. I like Toru Yano. I like AEW. I like it WWE for silly shit. Now, there is some dumb, silly shit where I'm like a bit like I don't like when WWE goes into the level of camp to offense, you know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, this is just way too much and kind of is just upsetting me. But you got to take it. Ultimately, wrestling is sports entertainment, and a lot of what wrestling draws from is vaudeville.
Yeah.
Like modern wrestling, it's vaudeville, like reinterpreted to me. And I love that. It's just, I don't think you can hate one and not and love the other. You really have to. I agree with you guys. Like, this is good silly shit. I loved this. I loved Money in the Bank for the silly shit.
Yeah. And Money in the Bank was one of the ones that I was kind of like on the fence with the most. Some of the silly shit got me. Some of it I didn't get me. And I was like, okay, I definitely see that there's a line for me somewhere around here. But I understand that my line is different than a lot of other people's line. So I just didn't understand how people were trying to pretend this wasn't in their wheelhouse when this is exactly the same style of everything that they like in the other stuff. To me, that's the weirdest part. Or the stupidest part, I guess. Dorchap says, people taking teams with wrestling is the most wrestling fan shit ever, and it's annoying. I just enjoy wrestling, goddammit. And yeah.
Hell yeah,
I mean,
brother.
Yeah. And I think that's what we try to show on here the most is like, I think we're pretty consistent about the things we know each other are going to like. You know what I mean? I see stuff on AEW and I go, okay, I like this part. Other stuff comes up and I go, of course I'm not going to like this. You know what I mean? Like, but it doesn't mean I have to hate something just because AEW put it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Like FTR against Busher and Blade. I didn't hate it just because it was on AEW. I loved it because it was good wrestling. What are you Googling? What are you Googling?
Twitch.
What?
But no, I agree with you. Like,
you're what?
He says it's on Twitch, but nothing popped up in there.
Yeah.
That was the easiest lie to pick out. Why would you pick that?
Such a lie.
Why would you pick that lie to have when we can see what's happening in there?
He's on Pornhub.
Dude, forward me a link. All right.
Something popped up.
The greatest wrestling match ever.
Ever.
This is the greatest show. It's the greatest
When
show.
that theme
It's the greatest
kept
show.
playing, I was like, "Oh, are they doing this because they have to use greatest in some capacity for the Saudi deal?"
What? No, stop that.
It felt like
No,
this
this wasn't in Saudi. This was in Florida.
I don't care. It felt like I was like, this has got to be like, because it was not. It was a fantastic match, and I loved what they did, and I loved that they tried it. I was like, I don't like that they're really building this up this much.
No, the build was ridiculous, but
Yeah.
what did you think of the match in and of itself?
It was not the greatest wrestling match ever.
I didn't ask you what you thought of the match. I asked you what you thought of the match, the wrestling. What did you think of the wrestling match inside of it?
I thought it was okay. I thought it was really good. Like, yeah.
Would you say they put on a great performance, just wrestling ring bell to bell?
Overall, yeah.
Yeah? Kevlar?
Given the context of it, you had like a first with a 9-year gap.
Yeah, regardless of the build, I feel like it was a great match in and of itself. If it had no build and all you saw was the wrestling and nothing else, just bell to bell, that was a great match. Kevlar, what did you think of the match?
Sorry, mid follow. Yeah, I thought it was a great match. I liked it. Really, no complaints, truthfully.
Let's see. Dorchop says branding of the match was bad, match was good. So,
Yes.
But here's the thing, is it was a gimmick match. The gimmick was greatest wrestling match ever. Everything around the match is what made it the greatest wrestling match ever. This was in quotations. This was the greatest wrestling match ever because it had the MSG mic. It had Howard Finkel's voice. You had classic referee in the blue and the bow tie. Those weren't there on accident. Those were there because when you think of greatest wrestling match you've ever seen, those are things you think of. You see the image of Howard Finkel with the mic that says MSG, and you go, God, there's nothing that beats that. This was a gimmick match of greatest wrestling match. The audio of it, the overlay of the audience was just because if the crowd was there, they would have done that. But the greatest wrestling match ever has the audience going wild for stuff. So the audio had to be there because it was the gimmick of the match. Them doing throwbacks to other matches and doing moves of people who beat them in those moves before was the gimmick of the match.
Guerrero spot.
Yeah.
Doing a Guerrero spot. Why? Because Eddie Guerrero is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. And no one disputes that. Greatest wrestling match that ever happened? Let's think of some Eddie Guerrero matches. That means we've got to have an Eddie Guerrero callback. Greatest entertainer that WWE's ever seen? The Rock. Well, of course we got to throw in The Rock bottom. Because it's the greatest wrestling match ever. Gimmick. This was a gimmick match that was beautiful and gave me chills, to be honest.
Well, it gave you chills once you saw Robinson.
The second I saw Robinson in the blue shirt and the black tie, I stood up straight and I went, oh my God.
Which I have up. I have that picture up. It's on your right.
Ah! Yeah. When I saw him in there, I went, oh my God. And then it started with Robinson breaking down the rules. Why? Because that's classic wrestling, and that's the greatest wrestling I remember growing up. This was a gimmick match that made you have to pull back and think about the beauty of wrestling. And what's everything you love in wrestling? Because you know what? We got a little bit of a wink in there for you.
I wish she had red shoes.
What? No, fuck that. Hold on, let's see.
That would have been awesome. Let's throw a wing out to New Japan. Red shoes.
Let's real quick jump into the chat. Dorchop says sucks about Edge getting hurt. Yeah, he tore his tricep somewhere in there. And you know what? The greatest wrestling matches ever. Someone gets hurt and pulls through. I don't think it was a work that he got hurt, but I think it helped. Blue Boyd says I felt so bad for him. Thought that was a work. Dorchop says actually didn't think of that. Blue Boyd said, then reading it wasn't later. I thought it, what? Oh, reading that wasn't a work. I started thinking, oh, damn. Dorchop says red shoes equals 7 stars. This wasn't in Japan. This was in the MSG. This was in Madison Square Garden. Why? Because that's where the greatest wrestling matches in the world happen. That's where everyone's favorite moments happen, is in Madison Square Garden. Nothing happens in Japan that anyone's ever talked about. Pick up your Pointless Aggression t-shirts.
I know where you live. I'll drive over to your house and yell at you.
At prowrestlingtees.com/wrestlingontherocks for your Pointless Aggression t-shirts.
I will violate social distancing.
But I felt like this match was amazing. It reminded me of things that I loved about wrestling. It wasn't the greatest wrestling match ever because it was going to be one of the matches that you talked about as the greatest wrestling match that maybe you ever saw. It was the greatest wrestling match ever because the gimmick was nothing's greater than wrestling, and let's remind you of that by everything we do.
That's some creative bullshit.
I fucking hate you, dude.
I mean that in the best way. It's some good creative bullshit. It's the duck jerky.
It ain't no duck jerky, dude. Dorkchop says he wish he had an Okada emote to spam me with.
Yes. Just put rain, Dorkchop. Just put rain. But he might think it's piss.
There we go. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah. And you say that makes me think it would have been really cool, though, if they did throw some things out to other companies.
What?
Like, somebody does a V-trigger knee.
No, they said greatest.
Oh, don't.
Are they going to do the fucking jazz hands, too? Go out there with a curly fro and dance their way to the fucking ropes? Is that what you want in a greatest match? My ass. We're talking about actual wrestling, not dancing in the ropes.
I mean, we could have put your ass in the greatest match ever.
Dorkchop says Rainmaker. I agree they should have made a callback to every other company that's ever had a great wrestling match. And the fact of the matter is they did. No other company's done a match as great as WWE. Boom.
I'm delivered. That's it.
Done.
He hates
Done
you
here.
so much.
You'd like hear a car start and he drives off. He lives there.
Doesn't matter.
God damn, he's getting chips.
Oh, okay, mute him.
I can't mute him. It's not Zoom.
Okay.
We don't use Zoom. I can't mute someone else.
Turning it down. I really did turn it down.
Well, then you've also muted me.
Well, right after you stopped talking, I turned it down. Right.
Oh, he made a clip of me dancing. It's pretty good. Dance masterclass. I don't know how to go back now. I fucked up.
Found duck chips.
Did you?
Yeah.
That is good.
Yeah, you'll have to post it. So, there we go. Here we go. We're all learning. Thanks for sticking in, guys. Every show is like the first show because we can't figure out how any of this stuff works. We're just not picking it up.
We're learning as we go.
Was there anything else you guys want to say about it? Was there anything else you want to try to shit on it? Because I think that you guys can't. I think you guys know it's the greatest wrestling match ever now.
I really would have liked to see them like reference other companies, and I know they won't, but like I know I'm gonna sound like Conrad and Pritchard yelling, but like to see like somebody put someone into almost a one-wing angel, just something, you know. I've liked it, you know, or shit, spray painted title.
Spray paint the title.
Yeah.
I think the problem with using a Kenny Omega move is like it or not, very few people in America know what the fuck what that has anything to do with.
Yeah, but little things there. Not that many people will know some things that do reference. Wrestling fans, some are young.
And hey, you know what you do when you're on number one? You don't even talk about number two.
Well, see, and that's AEW's problem, is that they so hard on elsewhere that a lot of people in America don't know what they're referencing and talking about.
Yeah, I do think that's one of the reasons why they haven't spiked in viewership like I thought they would. People are watching and they don't know what's happening. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't understand why something seems to be of relevance to the group of fans who are there. So yeah, I mean, I think you do want to make those big callbacks. And Kenny Omega may have had one of the best matches of all time in Japan that some people saw. I haven't seen it. I wouldn't have caught it. So I would have seen it, and I would have been like, oh, why are they doing that Kenny Omega move that he keeps losing when he doesn't get it? You know what I mean? Like, they never kick out of it, but it's also like, oh, yeah, that's the move that Kenny doesn't seem to be able to get most of the time, and he loses because of it. I mean, because he's got a losing record out here. So, I mean, like, if AEW booked themselves better, maybe. But we can't rely on them to watch the NJPW stuff.
Well, then, how about
a Taka Michinoku driver? That'd have been good.
That'd be cool. Do a burning hammer. And see if somebody can survive a fucking burning hammer.
Yeah. Could have done the old Bruno double axe handle.
Yeah, do like little things here and there. You could add more, and like it wouldn't be something for everyone. But for the people who would see it, you'd be like, oh, it'd be a cool moment.
It'd be cool.
Yeah.
The other thing people are talking about is at the very end when Randy Orton did the punt, he slapped his leg. And people were talking about the tweets that he had going back and forth with Ciampa. Are you guys familiar with those tweets?
Mm-hmm.
So after In Your House, Randy Orton put out a tweet that said something along the lines of, heard you guys put on a great show. I'm slapping my leg for you. # leg slap. Talking about how much they slap their legs. And then Ciampa puts out a tweet that said something like, been having a hard time getting my daughter to go to sleep. Found the perfect cure. Randy Orton matches. It's better than NyQuil. # from all the boys who busted their ass. And then Randy responded with something along the lines of, it looks like I hurt the feelings of a self-proclaimed locker room leader of a wrestling school. Let me know when you have leg slap class. I'll see if I can make it. And really up my game. Take my game to the next level. That's what he said. So I was loving it. Just thinking, this is incredible. But now everyone's freaking out. They're like, he knew he was going to end his match with a leg slap. And I was like, did he just slap his leg? And I was like, okay, but hold on. You guys are missing the conversation. The conversation was you guys are going leg slap happy. And he just showed in a match that you can have an amazing match and have it happen once. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to do it that much to have an impact. And he just showed less is more. He proved that. And you guys missed that entirely. I don't think that was his intent. But it was proven in that match nonetheless. You know what I mean? And everyone is all like, but he did it once. He did it once. Okay, he did it once. Let's put that one next to a clip of the last time Gargano and Ciampa had a match together and see and have a little fucking counter going. How many times you see it?
Fair.
You know what I mean? It made me laugh either way, but watching the people go ape shit about it, I'm like, I think you guys don't understand what they're talking about. Let's see, Dorchop says Kenny is 15-3 this year, actually, but to be fair, most tag matches... He's at 15 matches this year? That's crazy.
Wow.
18.
And how many of them...
Well, yeah, I didn't believe he had 15.
Yeah, how many of them do you remember, clearly?
I could have sworn it was like 5. But I didn't watch for a month, so maybe he had a lot. One week he had a bunch of matches. Let's see, Dorchop says Randy knew exactly what he was doing, worked all of the wrestling Twitter. Yeah, maybe so.
Trump just flipped you off when you looked down.
Yeah.
No.
So I guess it could have made a nod to NJPW for the 6 people who have watched Japan.
Damn.
Yeah.
Hating you so much.
I guess they could have tried to make Meltzer happy so he could give them a couple of stars and. Do
we have a star rating for Backlash yet? Because I want to know what negative ass stars this fuck all match got.
This match was not fuck all, and you know it. Hold on. Snack That Smiles back says Randy Orton proved that you don't need to slap your legs every 2 minutes to have a good wrestling match. Yeah, you're goddamn right.
Totally just said that.
Just said that. And that's why I agree with it, because I also said it. 100%. Cheers to that. Snack That Something Smiles back.
Nope.
But I do think that there is a really valid conversation between Ciampa and Orton matches and the differences between them and what it takes. And I do think that that's something that is glaring in the NXT product. They come off a little goofy because they just can't fucking lay off of it. But all that was standing. Anything else you guys want to say about the greatest wrestling match ever? Do you guys feel differently about the way I described it as a gimmick match?
No, I 100% agree that it's a gimmick match. Or else you wouldn't have gotten all those callbacks and little nods here and there.
Goddamn red shoes.
Did you pick up on that quickly, Kevlar, or were you still trying to figure out what you were watching?
No, I picked it up almost immediately.
Cool.
Yeah, I picked it up by the time I saw Robinson in the thing, and then everything that happened after that, I just couldn't stop smiling because
yeah. Oh, yeah. As soon as you saw the MSG mic come down, it was like, oh, shit, cool. And then you saw Robinson, and you're like, all right, I see what they're doing here.
Yeah.
Do you think the misinterpretation is a generational issue? Like maybe people in their 30s and higher age bracket see it completely differently than people, in their 20s or younger?
I do and I don't, because I think any true fan of anything, really, they see the foundation that was built beforehand.
Not wrestling fans. Pricks.
But you know what I mean? Like, I remember watching Hogan and Warrior growing up, and everyone talked about Bruno Sammartino.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, let me watch Bruno.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see the draw. Let me see, stuff like that. And even Andre was kind of a little before my time.
Yeah.
Like, I remember watching the tail end of Andre, but watching the beginning stuff, it's like, okay, I can see the appreciation here.
Yeah, exactly. Talking to one of the guys that I used to work with, he's really connected because he was like, oh, you like wrestling? And then he was from New York, and he started talking about the times that he would go to Madison Square Garden and watch Bruno. And the look in his eyes when he would talk about Bruno matches and Volkov and all of them, it was something else. And you're all like, man, this guy's like connected. And I remember it was, I think, his birthday or something. I don't know if Bruno was dead yet. I don't know if he had passed yet. He may have. But I do remember when he did pass, that that guy came into the back room I was working in and played Real American because he couldn't find anything that was like Bruno's entrance music. So he goes, this will have to do, and played Real American. But I got him a trading card that was signed by Bruno Sammartino, and when I gave it to him, he like choked up. He goes, are you sure you want me to have this? And I was like, dude, I'm never going to appreciate it like you will. I just won't. I was never there. I never saw him. I never went to Madison Square Garden. I wasn't in that ring. I wasn't in that arena. I never felt that energy. I'll never appreciate this on the level you'll be able to. So it's not fair for me to have it. Because I actually got it for me. But I was sitting there looking at it, and I was like, I don't deserve this. I know someone who's going to feel different having this. And so I gave it to them.
Yeah, they'll treasure it. And,
yeah.
And that's like the Bulls documentary, or the Jordan documentary, The Last Dance.
Yeah.
If, I love Jordan, and I remember him in his heyday. If I gave a Jordan autograph to somebody in their 20s, they'd be like, oh, cool, I've heard of this guy.
Yeah.
But, if I gave it to somebody in, their 40s, they'd be like, holy shit, this is amazing. I remember this game. I remember this. I remember that. And like I said, true people that are fans of things go back and watch the origins and the foundation of why this is so big right now.
Dorkchop brings up a good point.
Dorkchop says, bring back the good old stomp punches, like the old Scott Hall punches that we love. Kevlar still administers those to his children. He said, give me that Bret Hart gut punch any day. And then said, my grandpa talked about Bruno like he was a god walking the earth. And yeah, that's the way that guy was. So much so that I went online just to see if I could find, I don't know if I found it online or actually went to a store in town. I did. It was here in town. That place I get those Funko Pop protectors, Kevlar. I was in there and they had a Bruno LJN toy. And
oh, really?
Yeah, and it was like almost no scuffs. I was like, wow, this thing's like close to mint. But it was out of the package. But I grabbed it. It was like not much. I cleaned it up a little bit where there was a couple scuffs, made it look good, and I brought it in for him. And I was like, dude, you gotta have this. And he like got legit choked up, and he goes, that Bruno card, he goes, it's on my nightstand. He goes, it's right there by my alarm clock. And he goes, I'm gonna put this right next to it. And so he's got his little Bruno shrine right there now. He's got his little toy, his little card with the sign. Mm-hmm. And I'll never feel the same looking at that stuff as he will, because he's gonna remember being there and hearing Howard Finkel. Is he gone?
What?
Pete, yeah.
Where'd he go?
Works at it's a defense company.
Oh yeah, I remember talking about that. Yeah.
I missed that motherfucker.
Yeah, he was incredible. We would sit in that back room and we would talk wrestling so much, and he was always surprised at how much of the old stuff I knew, and I would tell him because I'm a fan, man. Like, I'm not gonna not look back on it. When I think about my favorite wrestling storylines, I think about the wrestling storylines that got me into wrestling. I think of Andy Kaufman and Jerry Lawler. I was not even born by the time Andy Kaufman died. But I think about that as something that got me into wrestling, because I was watching that stuff and thinking, this is incredible. You got to go back and watch that stuff if you really truly care about this as a thing. And I do think that the greatest wrestling match ever kind of heightened that a little bit and brought that to the forefront and said, don't forget why you love that, and don't forget why we're here.
Yeah. And I think, so the reason I say I think it'd be cool to throw that stuff out, and I get what you old bastards are saying.
Yep.
I feel like we should throw something out to the people who like new stuff. Because what got me back into wrestling was the New Day and Kenny Omega. So it'd be cool to acknowledge some of it. And if not them, acknowledge Red Shoes, because that goes back so far. That goes back to Antonio Inoki. You could have some kind of thing there, and that could bring those moments flood back where people could think of WCW. They could think of, Inoki and Flair. They could think of Great Muta. You know, these different moments. Yeah.
Response?
He's got his head up his ass. I don't want to tell him.
For a second, I thought you were crying. You got like misty-eyed there. I was like, oh shit.
We always see new stuff now, though. That's all AEW is, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's just it, too, is I don't think this was a match to say, hey, watch this new stuff. I think it was a callback to why are we here now?
Snatches.
Snack that, smiles back. I'm going to get that fast one day. It says, I'm 20 years old and I hate this new wave of wrestling style that's being popularized. All right, cheers to that. Thanks for coming through. Love this guy.
Or gal, or however they
We need more people in the chat who can help me belittle Clump.
I'll invite my therapist to the show.
I'll get my parents to chime in.
Tell him he's fat too, Mark.
Yeah, plus he's fat. Like, what?
Yeah. Mention that he didn't become a doctor.
Yeah, right. Talk about his stupid degree. Let's see. The whole Dragon Gate style isn't for everyone, but it's what got hot in the indies, and now all those guys have moved up. Yeah, I mean, I definitely appreciate the idea of there's fans of it, right? That doesn't mean that everyone's a fan of it. So I also understand saying, like, well, they could have done this one thing or this other thing. Well, maybe. I think this is a callback to how we got to here and the foundations of it. I think this was really like a celebration of really wrestling of old, and I think but I also think it was a way to kind of like highlight that it still works, and it doesn't have to be the new wave stuff to be exciting or to be good or to come off as important. I think that's kind of the story there. I think that you see enough of the new style stuff now to say, oh, I know that also gets over with certain crowds. Oh, I know people think that NXT is very exciting, but if I want to see that new school stuff, I'll watch NXT. This was a way of saying, like, classics never die. It's a classic because it still works, and they were just showing that. I think it was a celebration of what it used to be and how it still works because the foundation of wrestling is still so good and so sound. It worked for a century before we got to the popular era of the 90s. That it can still work. I'm not saying that it had no place being in there, but I'm saying I understand why you wouldn't put it in this match particular.
And I thought producer here.
Yeah, producer here is
not what I sound like. It also is. It was interesting to see against the backdrop of fan boys or gals or whatever saying either way. WWE sucks. AEW sucks. Whichever brand sucks. So you've got these super fans, if you will, saying only this. We only watch this. Whereas, this wasn't saying, oh, everything else sucks. This was saying, this is why we love this.
Yeah.
Is kind of what it felt like. And I just thought it was interesting against the backdrop.
Yeah, it's true. Dorkchop says, still more of a strong style guy myself because I love when guys lay their shit in and make it look good. I 100% agree with that. I have liked a lot of the stuff I've seen in Japan because of that. Because I do think that you want stuff in a lot of new age stuff that no one's laying their shit in at all. That was my biggest issue with like Kairi Sane and Alexa Bliss for such a long time. They would never lay their shit in at all, and it looked really weak and feeble, and somehow they beat Shayna Baszler. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, lay it in. Put that elbow into her fucking chest, like, make it look like something. And, I mean, a lot of the greats would sometimes lay it in too much, but also at times be able to lay it in such a way that you never felt it, but it looked fucking brutal. It's just going back to this last year, I'm watching a lot of New Japan. Clump, what should he be watching over there?
For New Japan? Well, if you want strong style and stuff, one thing I really, truly appreciate, and this could have had a space in this, look at anything Minoru Suzuki does.
There you go. Look up some Suzuki. Check it out.
Because if somebody did a pile driver, and somebody could have done like a weird gotch style pile driver,
that'd be cool.
That would have connected to the old wrestling to Simon Gotch, to everything, to wrestling through the 80s, because that style of pile driver, but that also would have connected to New Japan.
Yeah, that'd have been cool. I would have liked also the Jerry Lawler punch off the second rope would have been cool.
Mm-hmm.
Suzuki, yes, he scares me in a good way, he says.
Yes.
Let's see if we can't breeze through a lot of Raw. I didn't think a lot of it was great. I do like the split
It was a
between
long
Lana.
show.
There was a lot. I do think that Lana breaking up, the split with Lana and Lashley was very nice. I don't like that they're teasing Natty and Lana at all.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was so excited to see them come out. Lana and Natty.
Yeah, absolutely. Liz and Natty as a team was cool. Dominic and the Messiah seems like a pretty cool thing coming through. And then there was a lot of great work by Randy Orton. What did you guys want to cover? I did like the finish for the Nia match. Let me throw that out there. I love that John Cone gets pushed, goes over to disqualify Nia, and then as soon as he sees the pinfall happen, he's all like, "Wait, I could screw you out of this win also." And he's like, "I have options.
Like
Let's make this more fun."
Yeah, I could disqualify you, but I could also fuck over your whole thing here. And the fact he just slid in there, he's still sliding, and he's like, 1, 2, 3. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. This guy's just slapping it. He's like, hands not even getting, it's like a push-up. You know what I mean? It's like where you like barely break the plane. He's like, bah, kabah. So fucking nice, man.
He was laughing so hard at this.
Yeah.
I did like that. I liked, just for dumb silliness, I did like the parts of the Street Profits, Viking Raiders, like if they did one segment and not 40. Because it felt like we got 45 minutes of them like, okay, this is a long match show.
Yeah, no, I feel the same about them as I felt on everything else, but I also understand that people are digging it. So I can understand if you're enjoying what they're doing. I get that there's a value there. I'm not really feeling the ninjas. I don't feel like the ninjas have to be there for the storyline to happen, but they're there.
Yeah. Big fucking ninja.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ninjas feel weird and like out of place. Like almost, hey, we have to add another element. What can we do? Oh, let's add ninjas. Okay.
Yeah.
It felt very out of place in this world of wrestling.
It did not fit. Yeah, it doesn't fit very well. Dorchop wants to talk real quick about Dominic. Talk about the text messages that Ray put on Twitter. He tweeted out some exchange between him and Dominic, and he had the zoom up really high. And Dorchop says, Ray with the old man text size kills me. He's got one eye. He's got one eye. That's one eye zoom. Yeah, he can't see good. He's got one eye. So he had to zoom in.
I could see him doing that too. Like, oh, I'm supposed to have one eye. Fuck it, make this bigger.
Yeah, 100%. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that's so funny because he's got one eye. But if people was like, oh, he's so old. I was like, no, he's got one eye. He's working the eye gimmick on his texts.
I also love that Ray had the Louis Vuitton mask.
Mm-hmm.
My all-time favorite Ray gear was the Louis Vuitton gear. I'm like, oh shit, he's got a Louis Vuitton one-eye mask. Hell yeah.
I like it. And then he did exactly the thing I said. Exactly what I said. As soon as he popped in, his eye got gouged out. What was the first thing I said on the show? I was like, I hope he puts a screen over one eye on all of his masks, so every time he wears it, he can see through, but it looks like he's covering his eye. And that's exactly what he's doing, and I cannot get enough of it. I fucking love it. You heard it here first.
Wait. Nailed the shit.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else in the show.
Any highlights for you, Kevlar?
I love Doran.
Yeah.
Like,
let's talk about it.
Like it solidifies him as one of the best heels of all time. Like blaming Christian to coming, like this is your fault. I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
You know. And I love that he, at the beginning segment, said, "I don't need a championship. Prove how good I am." Because he basically just shat on every championship on Raw.
Yeah.
And it was like, hey, this is me. This is what you're going to get. Like it or love it.
Yeah, I'm bigger than all of it. And you're like, okay. Yeah, I love that this is your fault. The only thing he didn't say that I was really hoping he was going to and got real close to is I thought he was going to be like, why did you make me do this? You know what I mean? Like that whole, like when you, not only are you blaming the victim, this is your fault, but when you say like, you made me, I didn't want to. And he said, I didn't want to, but he never said, why did you make me? Why would you put me in this situation? You know what I mean? But and maybe he got close to saying it, but he got close enough to saying, I thought it was amazing work. The whole ending thing there, and he keeps telling him, just take care of him. Be careful with his neck. Hold him. He's like, you have to take care of him. Yeah. Kiro Neko Carito says, why is everyone at home? Are you talking about us? We're the single most by population, the most infected population of every state.
Yeah, we're kind of fucked.
Yeah,
Arizona's number one.
Yeah, Arizona, we're number one, dude. New York ain't shit. You think you're the big city? Well, we're the big shitty.
Sorry, I was listening to Backstage had Bret Hart on.
Yeah.
Tonight, so he was talking about how Edge went to him to talk about
this match, greatest wrestling match ever.
Yeah, and he said it was a tough pair of shoes for anyone to fill.
Yeah.
And he was giving advice.
That's really great. I wonder why they didn't use a sharpshooter.
And Bret Hart was telling him pretty much similar to what we said, how it was kind of for the fans. You know, like I always envisioned myself as the front row of a match, so it's for me.
Yeah, he's talked about that in a couple interviews, that anytime Bret did a match, he would try to think of himself in the front row and what would he want to see and what would make him walk away satisfied, and that's what he would try to put on in the middle. Kiro says that he's in New Zealand, so they have no cases. Oh, he didn't realize that we were the single most infected state. Let's see, Dorkchop says Texas opened back up too early, and now we have more new cases a week than we did before the shutdown. That's where we're at, too. We had more cases in 72 hours than we had the entirety prior to shutdown. And at this point, per capita, we have more people infected than New York has per capita. That doesn't mean in total. But
and we've been told that we're going to deal with it.
Yeah, and then our governor's all like,
that's the most frustrating part.
Yeah, they're like, what are we going to do about this? They're like, everyone's going to die.
No, the fuck we don't.
Yeah, you live with it or you're dead with it. Whatever one you want.
And then fucking half the city's on fire.
So that's why we stay at home, and then Kevlar and his wife are in the medical field. They are frontliners, as it were, in some regards. So they are exposed to some of the stuff more than others, and they're heroes in their own right, and we appreciate everything that Kevlar and his family's giving to us. With that in mind, we don't want him in our fucking house. We don't want the disease in here. We don't want him grossing up our goddamn living space.
Except your farts.
Before this week, you didn't want his ass there.
Yeah.
The smell.
Yeah. Dorkchap says, salute, Kev.
Thank you.
But
and then you and I work in computers so we can work at home.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But, Kev, anything else you want to talk about with Orton? I mean, I thought all of his promo work in here. I even thought the punt, everything. Him slowly rolling Christian over and pinning him carefully. Man, I loved all of that.
Yeah. No, I think we covered everything. Like, that was amazing.
No, I think it was great, and I think that Orton really showed that he truly is one of the greatest to do this. Not only by the greatest wrestling match ever, which they put on and was fantastic, and became part of an argument of, is this really actually one of the greatest matches? Like, the conversation started happening where, like, yeah, a lot of people look at it and go, well, it's not the greatest, I think this one's better. But there was a lot of people on the internet saying, I think this is in the conversation now. Like,
yeah,
there were people who were thinking that this is hard to say is not worthy of that praise by someone. It's believable that someone could watch that match and say, this is the greatest wrestling match I've ever seen. That's a believable statement for that match. So for him to do that and then put on these promos and this whole back and forth is awesome, man.
Yeah.
Dorkchop says Orton's been so good since Rumble, helping carry Raw. Kiro says he was Akira and Kagura, and whatever else. So welcome back. Thanks for coming through.
We didn't really talk about the shakeup with the creative team.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about that. Maybe we'll cover that in just a second. Anything else you guys wanted to definitely cover in here?
Nope.
I thought Christian did an amazing job. All of his acting in there, I thought was fantastic.
Big Show.
It was fun seeing Big Show.
Kind of slipped up.
Oh, Big Show called him Jay on the air.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, instead of calling him Christian, he goes, "I'm not trying to tell you what to do, Jay, but I'm just saying the thing." And like they both kind of like side eye for a second. They're like, "Did that fucking just keep going, keep going?"
Paul, shut up.
Yeah. Stop.
Thanks, Paul. Walks away.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of like it when they use their names, because we've done that already. I mean, shit, they called Edge Adam a few times.
Yeah.
And how many times did they call Alexa Lexi?
Yeah, but that works because it's Alexa. That's
Close.
one of those fuzzy areas. They have called Becky Bex. I heard Charlotte say that one time, and I thought that was a surprise.
Yeah, I remember that.
I want someone to call Big E a Tor.
Eduardo?
No, a Tor, because his name is a Tor.
Oh, yeah. And then
Tor.
Uncle Alan for AJ.
Yeah.
AJ calling Taker Mark.
Damn it, Mark.
Dorkchop brings up.
Yeah, Mark.
Kuro says, but Christian's name is William. His name's Jay Russo, or Riso.
Wait, what?
Let's see. I guess that really kind of wraps it up. I'm just looking through there. There's nothing else that was really worth talking about. R-Truth and Drew McIntyre, that whole segment was okay.
Oh, sorry.
William Jason Riso. Oh. Well, yeah, but they all call him Jay. He goes by Jay.
Listen here, William.
Yeah. Billiam? I think that's it for that. Was there anything else on Raw you guys wanted to definitely touch on? I liked the Sasha Bailey again. They came out and had a great segment, and Bailey doing her birthday stuff and putting a birthday cake in the back of her head makes me laugh. And then she even like came dancing out to the ring like a fucking nerd, and it was just funny to me. I really think this. I'll say this one other thing. The Iconics versus Natty and Liv, I don't think helped anyone. It was shitty that they had them get a quick victory over both of them. The win over Liv doesn't help Liv, who's just now starting to look strong. It doesn't help Natty, who is not keeping together the team. It didn't help the Iconics because they didn't look impressive in this match. They just looked like they had just some random quick match and stole a victory. You know, I don't think it helped anyone, and I thought that truly was poor booking. And I don't usually say that. I never say this is booked poorly. That match, I thought, no one wins here. This came off poorly for everyone involved. Let's see, name. I'm going to call him Luke Cage's brother. All right, so to wrap it up, we'll just talk real quick on it. Paul Heyman no longer in charge of Raw. They've now brought the creative teams together, so Bruce Pritchard is in charge of all of creative. And people are still blaming the Street Profits and Viking Raiders on Bruce Pritchard, even though he wasn't there when they started all this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it makes sense. Like, you're doing everything out of one building with a tighter crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
And they probably were already working together, you know?
Yeah, but I do think we had a quick turnaround on the Street Profits thing. So the Street Profits thing happened, and then they play through with Backlash, and then this week they're like, just have a fucking wrestling match next week. And they're like, oh, okay. So I think they really wrapped that up quick. Dorkchop says, Kuro says he blames the 7-3 Ninja, and Dorkchop says brand split ending next. You heard it here first. I don't think it is going to get an end. I really don't. I think they are able to successfully keep the shows separate enough. But then again, here's the problem with it, is that you see the same fucking people.
Okay.
I mean, we really were wrapping up.
Cookies are done.
Yeah, we really were wrapping it up. I mean, he's going to come back and we're going to be playing the credits. And we're like, well, you missed last call. Let's see. Fox
That was I have to poop if I ever saw one.
I think because of Fox and USA, I do think that's why they wouldn't.
Kevin Schinsel?
Yeah. I don't think that Fox or USA don't want exclusive talent. Let's see. This was the best Raw in a long time, which says a lot. They've already had so much crossover in their own way, yeah. GR Lunar's back up in the chat laughing at us. Did you hear what we said about greatest wrestling match ever? That's what you said you wanted to hear about, and we gave you an amazing breakdown of it. Did you check it out? Are you here? Let's see. Got people going to all three shows. Fox and Universal will never say eye to eye. No, fam. He left. The USA and USA is universal. All right, well, I'll personally, for you, Lunar, I'll find the clip where we break down the show. I'll slip it to you. Or you can go to podcast. We're now on Apple Podcast. We're on Stitcher. We're on Deezer. We're on Taking Notes. We're on Podbean.
Pocket Casts. Spotify.
We're not on Spotify. But we're on Google Play. Spotify will be on there next month, and iHeartRadio any day will be approved for them too. So, what are you talking about, Sella? What are you talking about? No, we do the podcast for other people. This is for the real fans that come in live and chat with us.
Yeah, this is live.
Yeah, this is live, and you're part of the show. Anyone on podcast is just getting the leftovers. Don't tell them.
Are we gonna edit that out?
No, I don't know how to edit very well. Let's see. Spotify's the only place your podcast are. Well, then you'll get it in a month. Let's see. He'll do it in a second. I think that's about it. So you said you think it makes sense. Are you concerned or excited about Bruce Pritchard being in charge of all creative for right now?
No, I think I'm cool with it. I've been happy with the changes with Heyman and Pritchard. I've liked SmackDown, I think, more and more. I think it's been the stronger show.
Me too. That's exactly how I felt about it. Realistically, I've enjoyed SmackDown more every week and enjoyed Raw less every week. So if we get a consistency here, we can maybe re-elevate these people, maybe see a resurgence of a Bianca Belair or a Shayna Baszler. That'd be fucking nice. Yep. But if SmackDown is so enjoyable and Raw feels like such a chore, maybe by combining those creative teams, we can have something here. You know, we can finally get them both to be exciting. Fabtina says, got to have 5 episodes up before Spotify accepts, which is true. I don't like Pritchard, but too early to tell now anyways. Jared Luna says, easy peasy. Let's see. A lot of people don't like Pritchard, but honestly, are you going to tell me that SmackDown hasn't been so fun to watch this past several months? Ever since he took over, hasn't it been fun?
Yeah.
You know?
I've always, and I don't know what people have against Pritchard. I've liked him.
I think, okay, so I get this part. So this is where I think the stuff comes in, is I think it's dirt sheet bullshit. I think that it's people talking shit about him being a liar, a spinner of truth, the great convincer, all those fucking shitty nicknames they give him. And maybe it's all true. I don't know the guy. I don't know. I've listened to his podcast, a bunch of it, and then I've missed a bunch of it, and it's like a back and forth. But, yeah, Pritchard's just an asshole, he says. Never mind his writing. That's what I mean. They're saying he's a fine producer. I think it comes from people having perception about him based off stories they hear from other people and nothing firsthand. And I'm not saying you have to have first-hand knowledge to know if someone's an asshole. I know I would not be friends with Hitler. I never met the guy. I don't like a lot of his work. You know what I mean? So I know you don't have to meet someone to know you're not going to like him. I also know you can meet someone and find out you don't like him. Like Sean Spears. Fuck that guy. But
I like how you put Sean Spears lower than Hitler.
Well,
damn it.
Let's see. I know from people who worked with Pritchard, who has some very unfondness of women. Who has a very unfondness of women's wrestling. He has. I mean, I guess I just don't know about that. I know that when he was producing, there wasn't much good stuff going on. I don't know if he can argue it right now. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I don't know. He could be an asshole to work with. That could very well be. But does that mean the content he's putting out, which is the only part that we as fans get, is his creative outlet, is the shows he's producing as a creative input? That's what we get from him. So are we upset or excited about it because we think he might be an asshole to some of the people who we don't know who have told some stories about it, which may be one-sided? I don't know. And they may not be. They may be 100% true. I don't know. But Dork Chop, how have you missed the Sean Spears story? You're in here more than most, and I've told the story a half dozen times. I get heated, man. Matter of fact, it might be on the last episode, which is our first podcast, so check it out. But apart from that, I'm excited to have Bruce Pritchard on as the head of creative for that, just because of how enjoyable SmackDown has been to watch, and nothing to do with how he is to work with people I don't know. But I will say this, if you think he doesn't have a fondness for women's wrestling, I challenge you to show me in Raw where women's wrestling has become this great haven for great women's wrestling over the past few months, where SmackDown hasn't. Because I think with Bayley and Sasha, I'm like blanking right now as far as SmackDown goes. But you've had Tamina with her first championship title match in 10 years against Bayley. You've had Bayley defend against almost anyone she's ever asked to. You've had Lacey be out there. You've got Mandy and Sonya finally in the storyline we've always wanted. You've got the women being put front and center all the time. Where with Raw, you have Asuka and Nia over and over again. You had Becky coming out there cutting promos and no women's wrestling. You have Liv come out for 3 weeks and cut these weird promos and then disappear. You have Charlotte coming over from NXT effectively as your NXT champion to steamroll over whoever they want on Raw, cutting long promos. But then you get a Natty versus Liv match for 3 minutes. I don't see on Raw where there's this great haven for women's wrestling, but I do see on SmackDown that those are the women's wrestling matches that I'm excited to see. Let's see. GR Lunar says, we were talking about, so people are saying that they don't like Pritchard because he's an asshole. I said, I don't know. I've only met him once. But they're saying he's not fond of women's wrestling. But when I think of SmackDown, I think of women's wrestling storylines like Mandy Sonya, Bayley Sasha, Lacey Evans, and all of them. We had Naomi and Carmella having a storyline for a while. Now it looks like Naomi's on the shelf for a little bit. You had Dana Brooke coming out and getting her time. But on Raw, you don't see Ruby Riott, you don't see Shayna Baszler, you don't see Bianca Belair, you see Asuka and Nia, you see Liv cut 3 promos and disappear, you see Charlotte Flair out there every week cutting a long promo. I don't see in Raw, you had Becky coming out there every week cutting long promos and cutting, and that would be the only woman you saw all night. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that was happening. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. That's how I remember seeing women's wrestling on Raw the past 3 months. From both shows. I think that SmackDown has been better favored towards women wrestling than Raw.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, for a while there, SmackDown was even trying to develop a women's mid-card.
Yeah. I mean, you got Nikki and Alexa. You think they're not getting any time? You know what I mean? Like, I just don't... I'm having a hard time seeing that argument, but I've seen it made a few times. And every time I think, what storylines on Raw was Paul Heyman championing that made us go, oh, this is where women's wrestling happens? At least in the past 6 months. You know what I mean? Like, I'll give you all the way up to WrestleMania. But after Mania, what? You know what I mean? And I'm even saying, like, Mania last year. Like, I don't know. I just don't see it. And then when I think of SmackDown, I think of women's storylines. I even think about how Otis and Ziggler was wrapped up with Sonya and Mandy. You know? Let's see. GR Lunar says, too long didn't read. Sean Spears thinks Marsha's a mark. Dick. Kiro says he tells Taker we're trying to do a show here, hurry it up, when trying to chat with Vince. I mean, he could have been being sarcastic or joking. I say that shit all the time. But it also could have been serious. I don't know. He might be a dick. I don't know. Dorchep says being a mark is half of the fun of enjoying wrestling. True. And I've got a story about that too that I will not share right now. But about being a mark in certain atmospheres and not. Well, I guess I could say it in the fact that I spent time with a wrestler as a friend of my brother's friend, or my friend of my brother. And we were out in just a casual environment. And then I had met them again, and it was very casual again, where it's like they're not their wrestling persona. And then they came through and did a meet and greet, and I was like, I'm gonna go to this. And I told him, I was like, you let them know I'm going to this as a mark. This is my chance to mark out, because I haven't been able to the last couple times I've met them. And he's like, that's fine, I'll let them know, it's totally cool. And then I did. I stood in the line and I was like, oh my god, like I did the thing, because I was like, I got to get it out of my system. You know?
Because clearly we're fans.
Yeah, clearly I'm a fan, and it's incredibly exciting. But I'm also can shelve that and respect you as a person and just talk to you as a person. We can do that. But I'm gonna want a little bit of fan time, because I didn't know who you are because of not being a fan. You know what I mean? Let's see. Kuro says wants a wrestling faction called the Sheeple. Just makes fun of people who take things too seriously. Well, kind of. Bailey does that.
Yeah, Bailey.
How dare you want to be a fan? He's
and
right.
That is why when we saw Bailey at SmackDown, we had our little sheep ears.
Yeah, we made sheep ears. Want to grab me one? I'll put it on for the end of the show. So if you watch Twitch Live or watch our YouTube, you can check out our Bailey sheep ears.
And it's still her birthday week, so...
Still her birthday week. But I mean, do you guys have anything to contest as far as like, is there amazing women's wrestling happening on Raw that I'm missing? Is Bruce Pritchard a dick and shutting them all down on SmackDown? Am I just not missing it because I'm a big Bayley fan?
I mean, at the end of it all, like, part of it I feel is this. It's not just one person running the show. And while, it's Vince running it, but I've not seen something drastically change with Pritchard. I've enjoyed his show. I've enjoyed his stories. I think some people, I think he's an asshole, but, I've not seen anything that's made me upset,
Yeah.
And I've seen him be pretty candid. Like, I feel like, I mean, I've just been happy, so I'm not going to knock it.
Yeah. Kevlar?
No, you guys nailed everything, I think.
Yeah. The show went a little long tonight. We try not to be this long. If you are watching on podcast, we're usually shorter than this.
Stop it, Clump.
Clump.
You're supposed to go on a podcast.
Yeah, people are going to be listening with headphones on. It's going to be right in their goddamn ear.
Yeah.
And I have to explain myself why Clump's over here shitting on everything. Let's see if we can agree. He's still better than Bischoff. I think everyone can agree Bruce Pritchard's better than Bischoff. Dorkchap says, cheers, y'all. That means he knows the last call is coming. We don't usually go this long. There was a pay-per-view involved, and so that's why we went a little bit longer, a little more depth. Plus, we had to talk about the greatest wrestling match ever. Because why wouldn't you? Ever. This is the greatest show! It's the greatest show! It's the greatest show! Let's see. Vince McMahon is still better than Russo. Yeah, I mean, I still like watching. You know what I mean? It still got me. So, but I do enjoy watching SmackDown more than Raw, so I'm excited to see where they go with this creative direction, and we'll see how it all turns out when they have to shutter the doors because everyone has COVID. We'll see how it wraps up.
So
what?
That.
No, what? I didn't do it.
We don't want anyone to get it, though.
I don't want them to get it. That doesn't mean they don't get it.
Okay.
I don't want all of Arizona to be infected like this, but here we are, living in The Walking Dead.
We are. We really are.
All right, guys. I think that's the last call. Like I said, we typically aren't this long, so if you're listening to the end of the show and you're thinking, God, this dragged on. Two, well, one, we're drunk. Two, there was a pay-per-view.
Who?
What?
Who? Who's drunk?
Who? Oh.
Clump's like, shut up. Clump's like, shut up.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Happy Father's Day.
And it was Women's Veterans.
And happy Women's Veteran Day to the producer lady here,
Woo.
veteran and lady.
Woo.
And I think it's all of the things, guys. Last call, right? Guys, check us out, WrestlingOnTheRocks.com. You'll be able to find our YouTube, our podcast, our pro wrestling tees, our Twitch, our everything. Give us a subscribe and buy us a drink. We'll see you guys all down the road. Last call. Cheers.
Night, Jen.
Cheers.